NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. Woo!
As an adult, don't we all miss spring break? Nothing like taking a week off from all your responsibilities. Well, here's the next best thing for adults, a spring break from house payments. SaveWithConrad.com can help you get rid of all your credit card debt, just like that. We're routinely helping our listeners save $5, $6, $7, even $800 a month. And you don't need perfect credit or money out of your pocket to do this, but check this out, no house payments for 2 months at SaveWithConrad.com.
Welcome to WHW Monday. Tony Schiavone and Conrad Thompson.
Jim Crockett First Arcade, 605 NWA. TV title, Cajun Omni, the Bunkhouse Stampede. Flair and Horseman, Garvin, Bogey, Magnum, Dusty, Express Tag Team. Turner, Bodden, Mid-South Joint World Championship Wrestling.
Talking about the great years of World Championship Wrestling, the NWA, and Jim Crockett Promotions.
Tony and First North, they win. Look, Schiavone's back again. World title split off, center stage, Bischoff. Disney, Hogan, and Nitro. New World Order and the Crow. Thunder, Russo, Arquette Champ, Vinnie Mac, simulcast. Tony's back with Conrad, not your classy podcast. Watch along, try not to laugh. Lowest rules can't pass. This wasn't the initial plan. Thompson's a good-looking man. Klondike Bill, make a tip. Tommy, you come over here.
What happened when? WHW Monday. And now, let's go to the ring. And here's your co-host. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to What Happened When? Without Tony Schiavone. Okay, he's really here, and we're going to give you a whole bunch of new stuff you've never heard before. But last week, I kind of forgot that, Tony's got a pay-per-view on Sunday, and we normally record the shows on the weekend, and I thought, well, he'll be home. No. Dynamite is still on the West Coast, so he's not back yet. So instead, what we're doing is we're pulling back the curtain, we're lifting the old velvet rope, and we're going to give you some inside access to the WHW Patreon. Our topic today, King of the Ring 2001. This was suggested by our low-key Big Hog member, Mike Stevenson, over at patreon.com/WHW Monday. And back in May of 2020, we took a look at King of the Ring 2001, which, believe it or not, Tony Schiavone had never seen. Tony sort of walked away from wrestling after WCW went down, so he wasn't watching WWF pay-per-views that summer. And yes, this is the show that you remember. Mike Stevenson absolutely loved it. It was actually originally requested by Eric Darcy of St. Cloud, Minnesota, and he wanted me and Tony to watch this show. And Eric would even say, could I pick the WWE King of the Ring 2001? I watched it live and loved Kurt Angle's performance from that show. And of course, the start of the ECW/WCW invasion storyline that was a fart in church. Okay, so we're probably, farts in church maybe describe what happened when. So this is going to be a show for the ages. This is Kurt Angle versus Shane McMahon in the street fight. The one where Vince McMahon is losing his mind in Gorilla because the damn glass will not break. So we're going to take a look at this show and show it to Tony Schiavone for the very first time. I think you guys are going to dig it. It's a stroll down memory lane. And don't forget, you get bonus content and bonus access every single week on our WHW Patreon. That's patreon.com/WHW Monday. You get the shows on Monday before everybody else. And when there's a taped Rampage, Tony Schiavone does a live watch along with you. In fact, one of the perks are Tony Schiavone, if he's in your town and he's got the availability, he'll come meet you for coffee. He'll hook you up with some tickets. He's going to take care of you. He wants to overwhelm you with his WHW Patreon. He's exactly who you hope he would be. I can't recommend it enough. And of course, once a year, we get together. Our low-key Big Hog get together. That's happening this June. And maybe you missed your chance this year. Make plans to join us next year. Go check it out. See what all the fuss is about at WHW Monday on Patreon. That's patreon.com/WHW Monday. Without further ado, though, let's get to it, man. King of the Ring 2001 with Tony Schiavone, who's never, ever seen it before. Let's go. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to a very special bonus edition of What Happened When? With Tony Schiavone. Tony, what's going on, man? How are you?
Conrad, we are kind of bonused out here, aren't we? I mean, this is our, our second bonus show that we've done. within the month. And thanks to all the low-key big hogs for choosing our shows. We've had some fun, and we're continuing to have fun. Yeah, here we are again, man. Here we are again.
And we're going to hear from Eric Darcy at the end of today's episode, because he is the low-key big hog who selected King of the Ring 2001. Fire it up on your WWE network. King of the Ring 2001 from June 24th, probably most well known for one match in particular. Tony, are you ready?
I am ready, and let's go to our tag team partner here for the countdown. Ready?
Enough fooling around, okay? All right. Now, I'm serious. All right? 1, 2, 3. Hit play.
13th time is a charm here on What Happened When. We get the old school opening here. Tony, what's more confusing to you, this opening or the WWE network and how it works?
Well, I think what's confusing to me is how to get everything right. And who fucking knows, because I do this for a living, right? I mean, one would think. There's a lot of snakes at the beginning of this thing here.
Well, it's symbolic of the wrestling business.
Yeah, it is. A lot of snakes in the background, I guess, as well. But I guess this King of the Ring is going to decide on who is going to get a shot against Stone Cold. Is that right? Did I have that right?
Nope, you do not. Stone Cold
shit.
is in the main event defending his WWF World Championship against the Chris's, both Benoit and Jericho. And the storyline here is they're trying to find a way to have Stone Cold reconcile with Vince. And he's not been successful here. And along the way, he's got to be able to beat two pretty badass upstarts. You know, obviously they're not really upstarts in Benoit and Jericho, but they certainly feel like younger, more daunting challengers than maybe the big plotting big men of the 80s. And we're seeing your boy here all over. Diamond Dallas Page here has recently debuted. He's going to be in a feud with The Undertaker. And he's doing a bit of a stalker gimmick where he's after Undertaker's wife, which should be interesting.
Wow.
And then, of course, the match everybody remembers, Kurt Angle and Shane McMahon in a street fight. What do you think of this opening package here from 2001?
I think it's pretty damn cool. I think it's something that certainly tells us, I guess, of what is going on here tonight. And we got our regular pyro open. And now, keep in mind, this is right after I left the business, or was kind of was not rehired in the business and went about my own way. So this is the first time I'm looking at it. But one thing that I notice right now is that there are a lot more signs in the stands now than there are, or in the stands on this show than there are now.
Yeah, I think back then, you know, fans were trying to get themselves over with their signs. Now they try to get themselves over with their tweets.
Right, or with their chants, or singing along with the songs that goes along with it. But
so when you look at this and you think back to June of 2001, of course you weren't in wrestling. What do you think you were doing? Just sitting at home pulling your pud?
Yeah, among other things. Actually, I was probably I was working part-time for a radio station, and that's about all I was doing. I was actually, to be honest with you, I was pretty depressed at this time that I wasn't doing anything. And I think what I realize now, Conrad, and now what I've realized since then is that what kind of gets me depressed is that if I have nothing to do, and I've got more than plenty to do right now, so I'm never depressed anymore. But if I'm the type of guy to just kind of hang around the house, you know, especially like on a Sunday after a college football game, I just get all funky.
I'll tell you someone who's never depressed, and that's our boy Positively Page here, coming down through the crowd in all black, the short hair, the glasses on the inside, not a douche move at all, the leather duster, which I think Bruce Pritchard still tries to wear occasionally like it's cool, and just coming right through the crowd there. Nobody bothered him at all as he made his way down the stairs, and he's right in the center of the ring doing the old diamond cutter deal. What do you think he's saying right here?
Well, he's probably saying that, hey, I'm one of the only ones that have made my way from WCW right here to the WWF. And if you're talking about some sort of stalker and some sort of angle for somebody's wife, what about what happened with me and my wife back in the day? Right?
Well, I'm not following you. What are you suggesting happened with him and his wife?
Well, I think we brought this up before, haven't we?
I I don't know. What are we talking about here?
Okay.
I think what he's saying is, bro, you got to try this yoga, bro. It's DDP yoga. And if I can get that fat motherfucker Tony Schiavone down 23 pounds in 2 weeks, what can we do for a tub of shit like Conrad Thompson over in Huntsville? I mean, I sent him the mats. I sent him the heart monitors. It's up to him to bend over and touch his little fat toes and boom, I'm going to be kissing money left and right like that. Because if I can turn him into wrestling's fat ass success story, then everybody's going to feel the bang. The stock price is going up at DDP Yoga. You hear me?
Yeah, DDP, Diamond Dallas Pepper. But also, I do need to say, before I say bang again, I need to say something to Lois Schiavone. You know, she came and started working out with Tony, and she's worked out only one time since we've started doing this DDP yoga. And we've had the excuses, well, she has bad knees and she's been going to physical therapy. The fact is, she sits home and drinks a 6-pack of beer a night, and that just ain't going to cut it, if you know what I'm talking about, bro. So let me say this. I found out there's a lot of money to be made by working out with people, having people lose a lot of weight. So I'm going to take that money that I have right now and I'm going to buy me about 2 or 3 Teslas, because Tesla shows money. And I'm going to ride around Marietta in my Tesla. And people are going to say, that's Diamond Dallas Page. He's driving in a $100,000 Tesla. Take a look at what he's doing right now, which actually, Conrad, really has happened.
Oh, DDP's rocking Teslas now.
Oh, boy, is he ever, man. Is he ever. And we're not talking about just any Tesla. We are talking about the SUV of Teslas, the one that cost about, what, $100,000, maybe $150 or whatever. He's rocking that around now. So, and as he told me, he said, yeah, brother. He said, I'm going to tell you that the industry of helping people lose weight is very profitable.
Well, you know what? I'm glad that you had a sort of cherry on top, because so far your efforts on this bonus episode have sucked a dick, Tony.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. You can suck a dick too. How does that sound?
Well, I mean, do you know where I could find one? Because if you knew where I could find one, maybe we'd take a stab at it. I hear that's Lois's excuse these days. She just can't find one.
She just can't find one. Exactly. All right. So Diamond Dallas comes out and he's cutting this.
You know what? If I knew any better, how about this guy right here? The first gray-haired juggalo ever.
Wow.
Let me chat you up about juggalos. You know, I don't know that me and you've ever even talked about that, really. Are you a juggalo?
No, nope. I'm not a juggalo.
Sassafras. Old Diamond Dallas Page is here, and I see he's taking his rightful spot in the wrestling business out in the crowd. What do you think, Paul? What do you think his prospects of taking on the Undertaker are here tonight?
Well, he was talking a little bit about
having
Tony Schiavone lose some weight.
You fuck face on the other side trying to interrupt me. I am trying to make a point here, my good sir. So you will fucking listen to me now, you ignorant southern fuck you. I'm talking to not only you, JR, but you, Schiavone, because you don't know fuck all. I know everything, and you, my good friend, are nothing but a slapdick yourself. Why in the fuck are you even trying to do a goddamn WWE event? I was confused when I saw fucking DDP on here. I about went to sleep through that fucking promo. Then I tried to listen to what else was going on, and I heard some goddamn hillbilly from Georgia fucking talking, and I damn near did go to fucking sleep there until my good friend Paul Heyman came on. And now, for the first time in your life, you actually get to see what a real champion, a real wrestler, a real sports entertainer, and a real goddamn pay-per-view looks like. You. Fuck you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bruce Pritchard has joined us here on Patreon. This should be an interesting show here today.
I ain't staying out with this kind of bullshit going on. I'm telling you that right fucking now.
So, let me ask you, Bruce, were you working in the front office at this time for Vince?
You goddamn right I was, Tony. That's why you'll notice this is a good show.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, yeah, it's a great show. And thanks for being with us here on What Happened When, Bruce. It's always great talking to you, you piece of talking to you.
Well, what's that? And you lick your goddamn lips, you motherfucker, you.
Hey, you know what? This is the first time that I've seen Christian ever seen him wrestle. First time I've ever seen him wrestle.
Really?
Yeah.
That's sad.
That I know of. I mean, did he wrestle as a job guy before? Was he?
No, he's always been a real big star.
Yeah, he came in on top, unlike, well, you know.
Yeah, a lot of those people that we tried to put over in WCW
and have to fucking, you know, work in the Bush leagues first.
Yeah, I know how it is. All right, so Christian getting the start here on. I do need to ask something about Kurt Angle here. How far removed from Kurt Angle? Chat me up on the timeline. Was he removed from being an Olympic champion at the time he was right here?
This is 5 years. He
5
won
years
the gold
later.
medal in the summer of '96. We're here in the summer of 2001. You're at home pulling your pud, feeling sorry for yourself, and he's on.
That's a bullshit. My Iranian champion, Kurt Angle, jabroni. Here a win on the point. My Iranian protege. He humble Kurt Angle. Maybe fuck him in ass.
So, I think Bruce has got a good feel for what happened when already, don't you?
Yeah, I think I should just sit over here with Lois and let you two do it.
Well, I mean, you know, so far all you guys have done is talk about dicks.
Well, no, we haven't. How?
Yeah, y'all talking about dicks and penises and that type of talk.
What?
This is what this show's become. This show's become a dick clown show. Okay. It was what happened when behind the scenes. Hey, Schiavone, what do you know? Not fucking much, obviously. So let's turn it into a dick show and get everybody to laugh. Okay. So that's what we've turned it into. So
when do we start laughing?
Oh, you know, here's what's great. This was an unadvertised run-in by Bruce Pritchard here on Patreon. We didn't want to, wanted to give you a little surprise, and to our surprise, both of our bonus shows this week, or this month rather, were WWF selections from Low Key Big Hogs.
Nobody wants to see that old WCW bullshit.
Well, I mean, I was even hoping to show Tony like a Tournament of Death from CZW, but you know, King of the Ring 2001 basically has a Tournament of Death match right in the middle of it. Yeah. Of course, you know, Bruce would mock anybody who's going to do the exact same things that Kurt and Shane are going to do in a little bit.
The last year of WCW was a Tournament of Death. So I lived that shit.
Was Alabama Doink there?
Oh my gosh. Did you see earlier this month, that Alabama Doink passed away, Tony?
No, I did not.
Yeah. It's a shame, man. He was, he was
from Alabama.
He was probably the most famous active wrestler from Alabama right now.
No, that says a lot.
Ow, I think that was a shot.
No, I mean,
shot to the heart and you're too late. Oh, sorry.
So, Bruce Pritchard's fired up. He's had his peach shake from Chick-fil-A today.
Yeah, I bet he has.
I'm hopped up on Mountain Dew and peach shake from Chick-fil-A.
I'm pretty sure we're the only people who had like duck liver sushi and then peach shake. It's like a fat guy dreams or something over here. CONRAD today.
Well, you know, in Alabama.
Look, I've never heard of duck liver sushi ever.
Well,
it's called foie gras.
Foie gras. Okay.
Foie gras.
All right. I got it now.
Now, have you ever had uni before?
Uni?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's uni.
Well, I know you had it at least.
Is that like eel?
No.
Well,
that would be unagi.
That's unagi. Okay.
You've had it at least 4 times. I've met your children.
It's sea urchin, Tony. It's from under fish.
Okay. Gotcha. All right.
Oh, you're doing a hell of a play-by-play call on this. I just want to point that out. It's almost as good as when you were there.
Yeah, I know.
My God. Oh my God.
Oh, bro, we lost him. Oh my God, where'd he go?
You know, here's the thing. He's always making short jokes about Rich Bocchini, but seriously, he's in his computer chair right now. His feet are dangling.
Hey, I kid you not. True story. Tony, we were at the MLW show last month, and I'm looking for Tony. I'm in the back. I'm looking for Tony over at the announce position. He wasn't there. I sent him a text. Where the fuck are you? He was there the whole time. He just couldn't see over the ledge. That's Tell me
That's
I'm
true.
lying. That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got this big desk for us, and then they got these really short chairs for us.
Well, they didn't get the Tony Schiavone memo at all, did they?
Well, the fact is, I stood up one time and Court in my ear said, "Sit down." I said, "What?" He said, "Sit down. We don't want this to be.
We don't want to see you."
We don't want to see you." In other words, he was trying to be nice about it, but he didn't want to see me. So that's kind of where we are.
Hey,
with
so
Court.
you guys have got next month the MLW tapings in New York, and the rumor and innuendo is that PCO is going to be there. Have you seen any of the PCO videos, Tony?
I have not, and that's Carl Willett, right?
That's right.
Okay, I have not. I haven't seen Carl Willett since like '99.
I feel like as a little piece of bonus content, just like you did with the Enzo thing, we should have you watch when they electrocute PCO and hammer a nail into his head, and have him rip a deck of cards with his teeth, and all that type of stuff. I mean, they hook him up to a car battery. I mean, it's something you got to see. Then they like funnel blood into his mouth. It's pretty ridiculous. I think you'd really dig it. And
he's going to be at our Battle Riot now, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. He's my favorite to win the whole thing. Either him or 98-year-old Kevin Sullivan.
Wow. Yeah. The fact is I've just got to see it just to see Kevin Sullivan wrestle, or at least come in and with his golden spike and do something to somebody. I don't know.
His golden spike. Are we already out talking about
y'all are back to penises?
I said golden spike. I didn't say golden shower.
There's a goddamn gold medalist in the ring, and Shane McMahon, the owner of WCW, finally an owner you could respect. And y'all are talking about Kevin Sullivan's penis.
No, it's his golden spike. You just have a dirty mind.
What's the difference?
Oh, is it golden?
That's what I heard. Tony?
Hey, but I noticed that Shane here's got a WCW shirt on.
That's because he's the owner. God damn.
This happened while you were still there. Like on your very last episode of Nitro, Shane revealed himself as the owner of WCW. I know you blocked out the painful memories. You just prefer to remember Ric Flair wrestling on his shirt. But the show wasn't over then. At the very end of the show, Shane came out and said the name on the contract is McMahon, but it wasn't Vince McMahon. It was Shane McMahon. So he owns WCW here, which I believe was purchased for roughly what Bruce and I are going to make on the podcast this year.
No, it was from last week.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, see, all that whole angle.
Shakes.
Had enough cash left over for duck liver.
Duck liver and Pete Shakes. Hey, we speak your language, Tony.
Here you go. Here's your finish. Give us a call here, Tony.
Okay. He's got the foot.
It's a goddamn ankle lock, you hillbilly ignorant hick.
And he's got the ankle lock on the referee.
God damn it.
And the referee, talk to you like Vince talked to me in the ear. Go ahead.
God damn it, Tony. Who the fuck is he? Action.
Unprettier by Christian. He's got the Olympic Kurt medal. Kurt Angle. Kurt medal.
God damn, you got too much of a southern accent there, pal. Go to diction classes. Again, we're talking about dicks.
So there you go. Shane pulls Christian away. He had that unprettier finish, which is really something to see. Nobody gets up from that. Kurt was down for the count, but now he's been distracted from the outside in. The Olympic slam.
That'd be an angle slam.
Whatever. There you go. As we continue our King of the Ring bracketing, Shane McMahon very happy to see that Kurt Angle gets the win.
Special French.
Chat me up about King of the Ring bracketing. What are you talking about here?
This is a tournament, sir. King of the Ring is a tournament.
Okay.
I mean, could you at least spend 47 seconds just brushing up on what the goddamn show is about?
Oh, I was told not to watch it. I get it now. I get it now. Conrad said, don't watch the show. Yeah, I know why. Okay. So I can look like the fucking stupid one here among all three of us.
That's the King of the Ring bracket right there.
That right there is called a bracket.
All right.
And the winner gets to be electrocuted like Abdullah the Butcher in the hells of whatever caverns that y'all had.
It was Chattanooga, and it was a Halloween Havoc.
Whatever the fuck.
And it was
an
the
abomination.
Chamber of Horrors.
It was an abomination is what it was.
I feel like for Halloween.
Tony booked that?
Yes. Tony was on the booking committee the entire time. We've just kayfabed it on the show.
I guess you motherfuckers never booked an abomination up north, did you?
I did it on a weekly basis, thank you.
Yeah.
We booked the abominational snowman.
No, that was them.
Oh.
Her. Now, rumor and innuendo is it wasn't enough that we had two old washouts get podcasts. Now they're doing them together on Patron. I don't even know how you do a podcast on Patron. Hell, who am I kidding? I've been doing it on Crown Royal for
I
3 or 4
prefer
years.
Manischewitz to Patron, my good sir, because that's the way I was raised.
Well, I don't care how they was raised up there in New York City. See, down here in Oklahoma, we know where the good podcasting is. It's over at Westwood One.
That's why I wear a hat, my good sir. You wear one because someone make you want to look like a hillbilly. I do it to cover up my skullet.
Well, skullets are what we're all about here today. That and penis talk here on What Happened When. Now, we're not going to talk about my penis because nobody cares. Speaking of penises, here's one with ears. Now, serious business here. I need you to tell me what you think Stone Cold is saying to Deborah here, Tony.
Yeah. He's saying, don't get in my way, bitch, is what he's saying. And this is Jonathan Coachman with Hair coming in. And I'd just like to say that I can't keep up with you two guys tonight. I just can't.
Then fuck it, I'm out.
How nice is that belt? On a scale of 1 to 10, why is that a 10 and so much better than the NWA Dome Globe piece of shit belt that you like so much?
Yeah, well, because they had a lot more money to buy belts with back then. That's the reason.
I'm just kidding. I really don't like this belt. This is
you don't like this
agree.
belt?
No, Bruce and I don't like this one at all. I prefer
it is better than anything WCW ever had.
Well,
Wait,
I would agree with
in
that.
real life, you love that NWA Dome Globe. The one that Jack Briscoe held and Harley Race held and Dory Funk.
Oh, yeah.
Not as much as I like the one that Dory and Gene Kiniski and Thez belt, the one before that.
You guys are so old.
Well, that was a cool belt. That's back when belts were belts.
That's a damn straight, and men were men. Now we go outside, and what are we looking at here?
A couple of girls who are lost.
The Continental Airlines Arena, and it's sold out. I get it.
Of course.
You guys,
Yeah.
well, anyway. Did y'all ever have any of those last year you were in the company?
Oh, so here you go. So this is the DDP Stalker angle.
Okay.
And I don't know if you see, this is when they were trying all kinds of weird stuff. KingOfTheRing.com. I mean, they're trying to brand every single thing as a .com here. You'll even see when some of the wrestlers come out, they'll have their domain name listed below their name. Now, of course, these days they're doing it all about Twitter, but I want you to give us what you think the backstory here is, Tony. Bruce and I'll lay out. You just tell us what you think's going on here.
What I think is going on is apparently Diamond Dallas Page is stalking. Is that Undertaker's wife? Can I get the players right here? Is that the Undertaker's wife?
Yes.
Okay. So Diamond Dallas Page is stalking the Undertaker's wife, and the Undertaker is found out about this, and now he's pissed off about it. And what else can I say? That's about it.
Boy, this is riveting. So we've got Mrs. Taker here with that kadonkadonk hanging out. And he's got his F-150 here driving with a hat on. I didn't think I would ever see the Undertaker do that, but yeah, there he is. And this footage here, which looks like it was shot with a handheld, everybody's sort of waiting to see what's going on. And we see this guy ride down completely covered up. And here's the big debut. Here's the big reveal for the first time ever. And the crowd goes mild. Look in the background. It doesn't feel like there's a huge reaction when DDP reveals itself. It's hard for me to go back in time here, Bruce. Was it well known that he was coming in at this point, or was this a surprise and no one cared?
Okay.
Which one? Do you recall?
Oh, yeah. The latter.
So, I mean, I was always a fan of DDP and WCW, but he certainly fell flat here in the WWF. And that's probably what we're going to spend some time talking about, because some people would say he was too late to come over, but it's important to remember this is happening but officially before the invasion. You know, WCW, of course, is starting to appear a little bit here and there, but the invasion pay-per-view is still yet to happen. And I mean, I know that this is before things really get heated up with the invasion. And to me, there's not a lot of stars you could have been paired with bigger than The Undertaker. But DDP would say, I was the people's champ. I should have been paired with The Rock as the people's champ. And then it would have gotten over. But to me,
I would have gotten over being paired with The Rock.
Exactly.
Tony would have gotten, well, never mind.
But The Undertaker, I mean, God, what a big star. How does this not work? Now, what do you think he's saying to DDP here?
You, my good friend, we are brothers in, well, you know what I'm saying, Mr. Falkenberg. If you go back, I'm a Berg, you're a Stein, I'm a Stein, you're a Heyman, and from one lotsman to another, my good sir. All I am trying to say is while you are here, if you hitch your wagon to my doggy, then you might be able to do something. And I am sure that Tony Schiavone is sitting in his home right now going, what in the fuck am I doing on my own show?
Well, what we're doing is we're trying to get over DDP Yoga. Don't forget our friends DDP Yoga, because you see here, Chubby, if I can make Tony Schiavone lose weight, I know I can you too. And it's not just about exercising, it's about eating right. Right here in 2001, I'm asking this Hispanic lady, do you have anything gluten-free? I'm looking for something that's non-GMO. If Monsanto's in here, I'm going to diamond cut them the fuck right out of here. I need some gluten. I don't need gluten. I need gluten-free in 2001.
I got something in my ear.
Look, I want to go back to this thing about Diamond Dallas Page is coming out being a popcorn fart. Okay.
Okay.
Is that because the fans didn't buy his shit in the WWE or didn't know him back then?
How could they not know him?
Well, that's what I'm saying. They had to know who he was, right?
Not the WWE audience, not necessarily, no.
So the audience in 2001 is not as quote-unquote smart as the audience is today.
Sophisticated, pal. God damn it, you and your fucking smart words. Okay. Like, you know what the fuck that means.
Okay. Well, okay.
God damn it, pal.
Have you seen Edge before, Tony?
I have not.
Oh, God. What the fuck?
So this is a Hall of Famer, many time world champion, much better performer than Dory Funk Jr.
Okay.
Easy,
all right.
So now we about you and me about ready to go to blows here.
Wait,
Just
hang
about
on.
a half a second.
Look, here's your move right here. The what happened when hip
Again,
thrusters.
it's all about dicks.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. I'm gonna have a dick reference here in just a minute. Okay.
Go ahead. What's your dick
The
reference?
reason I don't know all these guys is I was working in a real job instead of backstage sucking people's dicks.
Oh, I wasn't there.
So I'd never sucked anybody's dick in my life, but
Until you
obviously
got in the wrestling business.
Tony is speaking from experience of what he used to do, so he thinks everybody did that. It's interesting.
Is that why you left the WWF back before somebody scraped or something?
No, absolutely not.
Someone scraped.
That's a deep cut.
What the fuck? Yeah, he's scarred for life.
So, have you seen Rhino before?
No.
Okay. Do you know?
Do you watch? Have you ever watched wrestling before?
Here's the truth about it all right now. The last match I saw was the last match I did on Nitro, and I didn't watch another match until Royal Rumble of 2017 when Conrad and I started doing this podcast. So I went without. I mean, I didn't watch shit. I stayed away from it.
Well, you did a couple of shots for TNA and XWF, but other than that,
So now we've established that you're a liar.
yes, we have Exhibit A.
Well, I'm in the wrestling business.
Well, there you go.
There you go. That's right.
God.
So chat me up about Rhino.
Rhino,
This is your show. You fucking chat us up about something.
I'm doing a WWE fucking pay-per-view. I don't know shit about this. I don't give a flying fuck
Look,
about this.
hang on.
Stop the fucking
Why is he
tape.
yelling at
fuck
us?
the WWE and fuck you and fuck Vince and fuck Shane and I'm done.
That's rude.
yeah. I mean, what about our low-key big hog who picked the show?
Well, it looks like he wants a refund this week, doesn't he?
No,
No, Jesus Christ. I just made it worth his while.
I was gonna say Bruce is here. He's probably okay.
Okay,
Hey, so
good.
look, what? That's funny. Fuck off.
I know, because it's true.
So Edge and Christian here are coming off the heels of being, one of the most over tag teams, in the hot era of wrestling. And they sort of came up in the business being friends with Rhino in real life. And Rhino here was the last ECW world champion. So it's a big deal that he's here and he's going to be a part of this invasion. And he had lots of sort of stop and start pushes. But at this point, it looks pretty promising for him, did it not?
Well, it wasn't a big deal that he was an ECW champion, but.
So is he over more with the WWF fans than Diamond Dallas Page would have been at this time?
Yeah.
I would disagree with that. I would say DDP was. I mean, DDP. Also, too, you got to remember some of the horseshit creative that you personally wrote for DDP in WCW is what hurt him.
Oh, I'm sorry. We just put him with the top guy, Undertaker, right off the bat.
No, I get that, but I'm just saying, had that happened in 98 or 99, I would think that the response would have been incredible. But suffering through the year 2000 with WCW had to hurt DDP. Don't you think, Tony?
Yeah. Yeah. It hurt everybody. Absolutely it did. And I don't know. Are we blaming Vince Russo for that now?
Hey, Tony.
Yeah.
Tony, it's been real and it's been fun. It's been real fun, but Conrad just shit his pants and I'm out. Y'all enjoy your Patron.
Yeah. That's that duck tartar coming out his ass there, isn't it?
It's duck liver.
God damn, man. Seriously?
It's duck liver, dude.
You didn't have any duck liver.
Well, whatever you fed me.
What'd you have?
I don't know.
We each had.
What'd you have, man?
I had Brussels sprouts. That's probably it.
That's what it is.
Who eats Brussels sprouts in a peach shake? Fat guys.
And duck liver and Brussels sprouts. That's
And
a
a peach
combo.
shake.
Fuck.
God damn. All right. I'm gonna leave him with his stench.
Okay.
And I'm gonna leave him with mine too.
What? Oh,
All right.
he just shitted. Bruce shitted.
I shitted.
I bet he did.
Brucey
All right.
pooted.
Wait, do it like JR would.
Her, sassafras. Brucey pooted. I pooted. I'm leaving.
All right.
I'm
All right,
leaving.
get the fuck out of here. See
Hey,
ya.
fuck you.
Yeah, fuck. It ain't fuck me. It's
Yeah.
fuck you.
I may come back. No, I'm taking the chair.
Oh, Jesus. Thanks for bringing him in.
Yeah, I'm sure you're really excited about that.
Yeah, no, it's good to see him. I see enough of him, but it's good to see him again. How is business here for the WWE in this year? Is it good? Is it
Doing
bad?
phenomenal. You know, they would have a little bit of trouble in 02 and 03, but in 01 they're doing just phenomenal business. They're on the heels of the biggest WrestleMania ever, WrestleMania
Right.
17.
And they're still in that Mr. McMahon, Steve Austin angle, right?
Well, not
And
exactly.
by the way, you're welcome.
Bruce can't help himself.
Oh, I know that.
You've done that
Is he
for a
gone?
while. Yeah, I think he's gone for now. We'll see.
Okay. All right.
You never know with Bruce. You know, he's probably going to use the bidet and clean his butthole out, and he'll be back yelling.
Oh, you know what? I do need to say this about your bidets.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it.
Oh, you're a fan.
Oh, there's nothing like it. Let me just smarten up the fans here that I've stayed at the Conradison a couple of times, and I've never seen a bidet. I've heard about a bidet, but I've never seen one. So I sat down one time, and I said, I'm going to push this button, and I just stayed there and let that warm water caress around my hemorrhoids. And it was, I'm going to get one here, I think. I know it's only for rich people. I understand that, but I'm going to get one here.
No, that's not true. It's not only for rich people. I guess we should smarten everybody up. What I actually have is called a washlet, and you can get a washlet attached to any old toilet, and you can get them, for under $200. And
Right.
some of them you can get just dirt cheap, but the good ones, they're about $200. But you can get the really badass ones,
Right.
really badass ones, the Cadillacs, and
Yeah,
with
well,
remote
this one-
controls and shit.
Right. This one, I pushed the button, and what shocked me about it was the water was at the perfect angle for my asshole.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I guess everybody's asshole's about the same angle.
Well, Bruce Pritchard had his own angle in here a minute ago. He's apparently wrestling's favorite asshole.
Right. Anyway, so much for the bidet talk. I suggest if you've never used a bidet, give it a shot. Literally, it is worth your while.
A washlet is specifically what you need, and Toto makes the best one.
Toto
And,
washlet.
You're going to be somewhere between $200 and $1,000, depending on how much you want to spend. You don't have to get the fancy $5,000 toilet though that everybody tells you. Just an attachment. As long as you can get water and power to it, you're roll tide.
All right. Meanwhile, this King of the Ring, this is now another match in this tournament, in the brackets going on right now, right?
Yes.
And how many matches are we going to have here tonight? Because it has always been my contention that tournaments didn't work. never worked in wrestling.
Right. No, I mean, listen, I think there's a lot of people who think that, and the WWE, certainly has flip-flopped on doing King of the Rings at different times. And, I do believe that the tournament can work, but I don't think it's like a hard and fast rule where it works every time or whatever.
Right. And so the winner of the tournament is going to get what? Become the King of the Ring and get his crown and everything, right?
Yeah, they become the King of the Ring. I mean,
right.
This wasn't like a deal where you get a world title shot right away. It wasn't as prestigious as like, oh, you win the Royal Rumble, so you're going to main event. It does mean you're going to be able to move up the cards, and at different times they did have like different opportunities, but in the end, there wasn't like now this means he's the next champion. But it did usually mean, hey, you're in line for a push.
Yeah. So was it kind of like the Macho King Randy Savage or King Haku, an extension of that?
Some guys would roll with the gimmick for a little bit, but most of the time, no, it was just a one night crowning and then they're on, because it did become a little hokey to think that, I guess King Harley Race is the first one who did it. And then, of course, as you said, Haku and Macho Man as well. These guys are having a hell of a match that we're talking over. Longtime friends, and they're pulling out all the stops. Pretty good match here. This is an underrated pay-per-view. It's a weird time in wrestling, and not a lot of people talk about 2001, after the buyout and everything. But this is a good show.
There's been so much talk about the buyout. Did it work or didn't it work? And I know, from my perspective, it didn't work because I don't think he got. I know they had the invasion angle afterwards, but I don't think he got the actual separation of two different companies that I thought would make this thing work. I mean, I thought if he really kept WCW separate from WWF back then it had a chance to work, because that's what worked on the Monday Night Wars.
Right.
Well, I think a lot of people assumed that whole invasion thing was going to go down a whole heck of a lot different than it actually did.
Yeah. Well, what I think is interesting here is, and I'm just trying to compare this to what we see now here in 2018, where they still got this black safety rail or padding around the ring, separating the ringside fans. They still got that. They still got somewhat of a walkway, but boy, they use a lot more different colored lights now. With Raw and SmackDown, I know they got their own colors, but I like this old look. I like the look. I mean, it's full, it's lit to where you can see everybody, and you don't get all awash in the colors. I know everything is about marketing now, but I like this look. I really do, for the fans. And Edge gets the win. Now, who we got here?
I love you for that. That's Spike Dudley.
Okay.
Talking to Lillian Garcia, holding the microphone. And we've also got Molly Holly chilling by Spike.
Okay.
And you remember Molly Holly. She was over with you guys for a little bit with Macho Man. She came out in a prom dress type deal.
Okay. Yes, I remember that. I remember Gorgeous George with the Macho Man too at one time as well.
Yeah, she was Roll Tide.
Yeah. Wow.
Give everybody a time cue here. Tell everybody where we are.
Okay. My thing kind of froze up. I'm at 37, 53, 54, 55, 56. Is that close to where you are right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. And now the Dudleys come in. And this is Bubba Ray.
You got it. Look at you, Bubba Ray and Devon.
Yeah, Bubba Ray and Devon. And Bubba Ray became Bully Ray, didn't he, eventually?
He did. That's exactly right. Over in WCW. TNA.
Right, TNA. And now he's part of that Sirius XM radio show, I believe. So
Busted Open. Look at you.
Busted Open.
No one's things.
Yeah. So there you go. But I just don't. Wow. Here's our man, buddy. And is that your man Taz holding the microphone?
I love you for that. Yes, that is my man Taz.
Okay. All right. Taz is asking Chris Jericho if he knows anything about this guy from Harlingen, Texas named Dave Silva. And of course, Jericho's saying no, but I'm going to become a big star one day, and you are just going to get lost in the shuffle of everything else. And I'm going to become one of the biggest stars ever in wrestling. Ever in wrestling. I'm going to go to Japan. I'm going to have big matches with Kenny Omega. I'm going to have my own cruise. I'm going to have my own rock show. I'm going to be a rock star. And you, my friend, are just going to be a sore person in wrestling. And that's because I am one of the biggest stars ever. And I would agree with that, Conrad. Chris Jericho will go down as one of the biggest stars ever. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, no doubt. I mean, I think he's removed all doubt.
Yeah, I was so shocked to see, and I went back and watched Chris Jericho defeat Stone Cold and The Rock in one night. And I know it was a Vince McMahon angle and all that, but that was some good shit. So, and he still, to this day, is doing quite well.
No doubt about it. He's rolling right now, man. And he has been for a while. And it's pretty cool to see, because I don't think a lot of people, when they go back and they see his run in WCW, they would have ever imagined what was possible. But then again, a lot of people never thought that a couple of guys like the Dudley Boys would go on to be the Hall of Famers that they did as well when they first saw them there in ECW.
Because they were big time ECW, and they were a big part of what went on there. And now here they come out as the Dudleys here. Now, the chair that we see that they're walking through, is that the throne, or is that like an electric chair?
Well, it's the King of the Ring graphic here, but they've made it to look like, instead of a throne, they've made it to look like an electric chair.
Mm. And now we're seeing Benoit and Stone Cold with the title belt on the back of Benoit, enabling the Dudley Boys to pick up the win. So this is an angle from SmackDown this past Thursday. And this is going to lead to what in this pay-per-view? The Dudley Boys against Benoit and Jericho again?
Stone Cold is taking them on.
Stone Cold is taking on both of the Dudleys?
No, not Edge, but thanks for paying attention here. We covered this at the top. Benoit and Jericho are in a 3-way with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Gotcha. Great graphics, man.
Yeah, I mean, especially for 2001, right?
Yeah, right.
And so what we've got here is they're trying to beat up on their little brother Spike, but Spike has went and called in the big guns. He's going to be joined by Kane, and of course the Dudleys are none too happy about that. Kane had a variety of partners like this over the years, where it didn't seem to make sense, but he always made it work and made sense out of it. And this is definitely one of those.
Wow. Boy, he was a force, wasn't he? Look at the size of him compared to other guys.
I mean, can you imagine, like, if you live in Knoxville, you got to be like, my mayor can beat up your mayor.
Absolutely. And I hope to get to see him very soon when we go to Knoxville.
Have you ever met Kane before?
No, I'm not.
That's amazing. He's a super nice guy. Way, 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 way smarter than, not than you would imagine, but I'm saying than you might guess from this character.
Right.
You wouldn't think that he would be so eloquent and well-spoken, and just an all-around testament to the businessman. Great guy. Can't say enough good things about him, and you never hear anybody say a bad word about Glenn Jacobs.
And he had a hell of a run too.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah. He's a $1 million player here for the company, and was for, 20 years.
Pretty good spot there where they pick up Spike and the kick and the 1-2. So Spike is now a member of the Dudleys, right? And now he's kind of broken off from them.
Well, they always had like this love affair where it was start and stop with Spike. Sometimes he's the belle of the ball, and other times they're just there to kick his ass. And that's really, if I'm honest with you, one of the things he does really well. He takes an ass kicking really, really well.
Does it feel to you that the Dudleys are out of their element here? I mean, to me, their element was ECW, and this is kind of just a basic tag team match. I know it's got an angle to it, but to me, the Dudleys were the type of guys that did a lot of hardcore shit, crazy stuff.
No, they do. I mean, even here, their gimmick is Diva and Get the Tables.
Okay.
And so, they've always been the hardcore guys for sure. And I'll tell you, you would have really loved to see them in ECW really get the heat. I mean, Bubba would get on the mic and just talk shit in a way you would never imagine someone talking to a wrestling fan. I mean, I saw riots in places like Dalton, Georgia, where you would think, that ain't happening here. But he was sort of jaw jacking with a guy in the front row, and the guy was in a wheelchair. And so he's like challenging his manhood and telling him to stand up, you blankety blank blank. And of course, it's just nuclear heat when you're telling a handicapped person to stand up. It's just
right. Wow.
Outstanding.
Take it to a different level. Nothing that you could probably show on television, but you could get away with in a house show.
Oh man, there are some shows where I'm sure somebody will pick, like Heatwave 98.
Yeah.
And we're going to watch his promo with the sound on just so you can hear what he's saying.
Jesus.
Like he looks at one lady or one girl and says, look at this girl right here whose mother taught her how to blankety blank blank. And you're like, oh my God. But I'm watching that as a 17-year-old and I'm like, yeah, this is my shit right here. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Big with the kids. The more risque, it's bigger it is with 17-year-olds. Absolutely.
These guys, I don't care what anybody says. Dudley Boys are in my top 5 tag teams. I used to I've got a couple of like really old school friends like you, and it's like, oh, it's always the Midnights or it's the Rock and Rolls or, whatever.
Right.
And don't get me wrong. I love those, but just to piss him off, I was like, hey, anytime we were around someone new for the first time talking about wrestling, I would say, who's your favorite tag team and why is it? Who's the best tag team of all time and why is it the Dudley Boys? And so when they put out like a Dudley Boy Blu-ray a few years ago, the day it came out, it showed up at his house in his mailbox with a little card from me. It was gift wrapped and the whole deal. And it was like, who's the best tag team of all time and why is it the Dudley Boys? What a spot right there.
Oh,
to do
my
like
God.
a reverse monkey flip and throw Spike Dudley right into the ropes all the way across the ring. Unbelievable. And how about that big back body drop? Just Spike has been so giving with his body over the years to these guys. And now he's completely out of the business. I think he's like a financial advisor now.
Really? Well, I mean, looking at what we're seeing right here, I don't think he could last in the business that much longer. I mean, he was obviously like a rag doll here that they were throwing around. Jesus.
Outstanding, man.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, so in all of this, in this gigantic storyline here now, has Eric Bischoff arrived in the WWF? Has Hulk Hogan arrived in the WWF?
No.
And how are they bringing in all these former WCW guys?
Most of
Did
them
they bring them all in mass, or they just bring them in one by one?
One by one for the most part. A lot of them are taking buyouts. Of course, that's the exception, not the rule.
Right.
Because you've got a lot of guys who still have, the big contracts that are going to make the full money and sit on the sidelines. But, guys like Booker T rolled the dice. Guys like DDP rolled the dice. So what I mean is they took a smaller buyout and then came in to work for seemingly less money than what they were working for before, but they had opportunity and they felt like being off TV really could hurt that. So there was a lot of strategy in just coming in, but I think too, there is wisdom in doing like what a Kevin Nash did, where he just says, no, I'll let everybody else go in and I'll come in later.
Yeah. Well, Kevin Nash probably had made a lot more money than a lot of those guys, so he could sit on the sideline if he saved his money.
He was getting paid that entire time. He got paid to sit at home for 2 years.
Jesus.
Every single week or every single month, every 2 weeks, whatever. There's a check in the mail. I mean, straight from WCW for the full contract price. So there was wisdom in that, but also too, if they're doing an invasion angle, I mean, would you want to come in with 12 other guys or come in by yourself?
Yeah. Well, I understand that. Did I ever tell you that I guess part of I don't know if it was a buyout or not, a part of my deal with Turner, I got paid for another 18 months. Paycheck came in for me.
So you're sitting here, you say you're depressed, but you're still getting paid. You're just,
look, I'm shooting with you when I say I'm depressed and I'm not doing anything. I like to do something. That's why I have a million fucking jobs now, right? You always bust my chops about, you got baseball, you got football, you got the radio station, you're doing this. We got Patreon now, you're doing videos. Is there anything else you can add to your plate? I've always been the type of person that wants to add more shit to my plate. If you can ask Lois, if I'm sitting here on a Sunday and there's nothing to do, I'm a miserable fuck. I really am. So depression is not about, can you feed your family? Because I've always been able to do that. Depression is, do you have anything to do? And I always got the feeling that my life would be wasting away if I'm not doing something. That's just my thought.
in Margaritaville?
Yes. Looking for my lost shaker of salt.
Yeah, that's code for your penis, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I bet you got one of those like room service salt shakers.
Yeah.
It's a deep cut right there.
Yeah. Well, so, yeah, this is, you know what? This kid Spike, man, God, he's taking some pretty good bumps. And look at that. 1, 2. And he almost got to 3. Man, at first look, I'm looking at this little fucker and I'm thinking, who the fuck is this kid that they've stuck a shirt on out of the front row? But all of a sudden, I'm liking what I'm seeing out of him.
That's
Wait a minute. And one more thing. The guy takes his shirt off in the front row and you're liking what you're seeing.
Yeah, do me a favor.
Okay.
Go back and stick that bidet up your ass, okay?
Now I really have to go to bed.
Okay, good.
I'm going to bed with that image.
Okay, so you're going to bed. You got to go back to Houston tomorrow?
No.
You don't?
No.
Okay. You don't really have to go back to Houston at all because you don't do fuck all except hang out with Conrad and do a podcast, right?
What's that?
Says you don't do shit but a podcast with me, so you don't even really have to go back to Houston.
I have to do my show on the WWE network that people actually watch.
Uh-huh. Okay. And is that it? That's all he's got to do in life, those two things?
That's it.
Oh, God. I'm envious. I really am, man. I'm envious of your life.
Are you guys still watching the pay-per-view?
Yeah, we are. And here's the best part. He's saying he's envious of your life, and I'm not sure. Is he really talking about the duck liver? Or is he talking about the Pete Shake? Or is he talking about that we're the two-time podcast of the year? I'm not really sure what he's talking about.
Could be all the above.
There's a table. Oh,
That was an ouchie.
You're not
I'm
kidding,
out, folks.
Man. All right.
So
Hey, good talking to you.
When your Padron like audience like tunes out now, they didn't know I was coming back though.
No, they didn't know.
So they were already gone.
We probably were.
Ah.
It was a false finish.
Good night, Tony.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for being with us on What Happened When on Patron.
What happened? When? What are you guys talking about?
Talking about King of the Ring 2001. Call this finish here.
Spike, look at this double team. What did they call that maneuver? Whatever it was, it's the finish. 1, 2, 3.
The Dudley Death Drop, the 3D.
Yep. Wow. And a great visual of Kane bringing Spike back to the locker room. And now, this is Edge and Christian together.
Yep.
This is before they became a tag team.
After.
And they're both in the Hall of Fame. I'm just asking a bunch of fucking questions, guys, because I'm watching this for the first time, to be honest with you. And seeing these guys wrestle for the first time. Hey, you think DDP is kind of like John Cena? What John Cena did at WrestleMania, where he was in the stands? Uh-oh. Somebody at the hidden camera is following Diamond Dallas Page now.
What's up with that?
Wow, that's pretty intriguing.
How about the stalker is being stalked?
So we're going to find out exactly what Diamond Dallas Page is.
He's not.
So is this going to come to light by the end of the show? What's going on? Who's doing what?
Certainly looks that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, sure does.
No Tesla for him here.
No, he was in a Dodge Dart. It looked like right there.
He had taken that buyout, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
He's in your Maw's Mercury right there.
Yes, he is. And oh man, he's fast. Who has been following him? I think some of the fans are kind of getting into his shit.
I'm a huge DDP fan, so I was into this, but it is sort of interesting that just wasn't working out. There's WWF New York, which of course crushed the company's financials. And here's your boy. I bet you have no idea who that is, do you?
I have no idea who that is.
That's Billy Gunn. Have you heard of Billy Gunn before?
I've heard of Billy Gunn before. Yeah. So now this WWE restaurant in New York crushed the company's financial. It sucked money out of the company.
Oh, major cash. I mean, they're printing money here. I mean, they made like almost $500 million this year. So it's no big deal, but still it was definitely a drain. I mean, they were doing all kinds of horrible business here, and the place looks busy, but the trouble is it is busy for WWF stuff, but not at all for anything else.
Yeah. And then the rent of that place had to be astronomical to be in Times Square.
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we've seen some pretty good matches so far, and still we're leading to what is the main event here?
Well, for the third time, it's Stone Cold Steve Austin taking on Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit.
Okay.
So
that's the main event.
If you could maybe write that down.
Okay.
So third time so far.
Okay. I thought that was... All right, I got it now. I thought that was just one of the matches. I didn't know it was the feature event here.
The world title is on the line.
Gotcha. All right. Now they're going to run Angle back out here for the second time. So now they're going into the second round of this tournament, apparently.
Yeah, well, this is going to be the finals. What we were looking at before was not really round one. It was just what we were finishing here tonight. So he's going to have two matches here. And oh, by the way, he's still got to take on Shane McMahon in a street fight.
Wow.
So Kurt Angle not pulling double duty, pulling triple duty. And here he's with another up and coming star, Edge. And a lot of people at this point were really high on Edge and thought he was going to be the breakout star from their tag team division. A year prior to this, it was all about Matt and Jeff Hardy. It was all about the Dudley Boys, and it was all about Edge and Christian. And now they've sort of tried to split up Matt and Jeff, let them do their own thing. The Dudleys are sticking together, but they're doing the same thing with Edge and Christian.
So Kurt Angle now comes out here. Where did he get that "you suck" that he uses now? Was that based on the fact that they had said he sucked through all these years?
No, the crowd just started to chant it, and they did it along with the music. And he encouraged a lot of that silliness, of course, and it became a gimmick.
Okay.
I guess we should mention this is a critically acclaimed show. Lots of people dug it, but the matches were pretty well received too. Kurt Angle and Christian in the opening match here got 2 3/4 stars, which isn't bad. Edge and Rhino got 2.5 stars. The match that we just saw with the tag teams, that was 3 stars. And here we're going to go to, 2 of the all-time greats, and they're going to have a 3-star match here with Kurt and Edge.
So Kurt here is pleading to Edge about something. I'm not so sure what they're talking about here. But.
Well, he's apologizing for yelling at Edge earlier. And he's also saying, cause he had been sort of paired with Edge and Christian. They were really friendly in storyline. And he says, listen, realistically, there's no way you can win. And since he has a street fight with Shane later, it would be very nice and friendly if Edge would just forfeit. It's the right thing to do. And you're being my friend.
Okay. So is Angle a heel here?
Yeah. Edge and Christian and Kurt are heels here.
Okay. They're all heels. Gotcha.
But they're trying to turn the story a little bit to be in favor of Christian. They're trying to make Edge and Christian good guys a little bit, but they're still like the cool heels, if that makes sense.
Okay. Now I know we're talking about 17 years ago, 16 years ago, whatever, but why are Edge and Christian not performing anymore? I don't get that. Because they look rather young here, and there's some guys who are still performing today that were performing back then. Jericho is.
Injuries. Edge suffered a broken neck and had neck surgery, and then when he came back, they told him right after a WrestleMania, "Hey, if you have one errant bump, you'll be paralyzed forever." Yeah. So he just retired immediately, and they put him in the Hall of Fame the next year. Christian had allegedly a very severe concussion situation and they just didn't feel like it was in his best interest to put him back in the ring. So he kind of quietly went away without the pomp and circumstance, but they're still around. They're still working with the company and doing a show on the network, and they have a very successful podcast, and they're still doing their thing, man. Wow. Thank goodness that's over. No, that's not just what I said when that glass finally broke for Kurt Angle and Shane McMahon. When I unsubscribed to a bunch of crap I forgot I signed up for. Try it free for 30 days. Well, that's enough time to try and completely forget about a subscription or service. And before you know it, you're paying for a subscription you don't use every single month. But with Rocket Money, you can change all that with just a few quick taps. Did you realize the average person has over 12 paid subscriptions? Think about that. If you think you're only subscribed to a handful of services, you might want to double check. Lord knows I did. With Rocket Money, you can quickly identify and cancel all of your unwanted subscriptions. Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill, is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and lowers your bills all in one place. Over 80% of people have a subscription they forgot about. Maybe it's a streaming service you bought just to get one show on. That was me with DAZN. Or maybe it was a free trial that you never even used. I had a piece of software I've had for almost 2 years. Rocket Money will quickly and easily identify the subscriptions for you so you can stop paying for the ones you don't want. You simply find the subscription you don't want and you press cancel, and then bam, Rocket Money will cancel it for you. No more long hold times with customer service or tedious emails back and forth. Rocket Money makes canceling subscriptions as easy as a click of a button. I did this. My wife did this. We learned we were both paying for a Hulu subscription. We used one Hulu. I learned I had DAZN for almost 2 years and I bought it for one fight. That fight had been long gone. I can't tell you how much money I'm saving because I'm embarrassed. But I will say this, it was a lot. Guys, it was over $1,000. I mean, isn't that ridiculous? Listen up, y'all. Stop throwing your money away, cancel unwanted subscriptions, and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/WHW. That's rocketmoney.com/WHW. rocketmoney.com/WHW.
Yeah, you know, and I compare that to some of the guys that probably back in the day, had they been wrestling in the early 2000s, they probably would have been told to hang it up, but they kept on going, like a Mick Foley maybe,
And a Ric Flair.
Yeah, or Vader. Absolutely.
You know, I know that we're going to air this out of order, but in real life, we've just gotten the news that Vader passed away. I'm sure you had a few minutes to sort of think about some of your interactions with Leon, and you know, we've told some of those stories here. What was the first thing you thought of when you found out that Vader had passed away?
Well, the first thing I thought of was when I last saw him, which was at WrestleCon right before WrestleMania of last year in Orlando, and he and I talked for quite a while, and you could tell that, you know, he was not well. He had a Bandlon shirt on, still had his Vader mask on. He was sweating, and he had just been sitting down. He got up, and just him getting up seemed like it took a lot out of him. He was breathing heavily, and asked him, you know, how he's been doing. I heard he had been sick, and he said, "I'm not doing too well." And I just talked to him about how much I appreciated about, you know, what he meant to the business back when he was the super heavyweight that he was. It's something you and I have talked about many times. I mean, Van Vader was just maybe one of the greatest big men ever. One of the greatest big men that I've ever called a match for, put it that way. And I just wanted him to know that. And I'm glad I was able to really made it a point to put his ass over to him as I was talking to him, because I was thinking that would be the last time I would see him, which was. And I also remember going out to dinner with him in Milwaukee, and him having this reputation of you know, being this brute and being not easy to get along with. And it was snowing, and I can't remember who was all with us, but I remember Leon was with us, and we were in Milwaukee, and we were having dinner on an off night or something, and he was just as nice and polite as he could be. And I also remember him asking Ted Turner for his autograph like a little kid, which I thought was funny. "Mr. Turner, could I have your autograph?" He said it just like a little boy would say it. And then again, I guess I remember more than anything else, the fight with he and Paul Orndorff. where Leon just went bonkers on Paul and shouldn't have, and Paul stomped his head into the concrete. So I have a lot of memories about him, but most of them really have been rekindled thanks to us rewatching our shows from the WCW days, because that was good shit, man, back then.
The best.
Yeah, it was. It was. And, I don't know the reason, the actual reason behind his ailments, but I'm sure him being heavy for so long and doing all the shit that he didn't help him out at all. I mean, he did incredible things that a guy his size never would have done, probably never should have done, but he was just agile and could do some great shit. Well, and the last thing I can tell you about that was I like Leon backstage, but when it was Vader time and he was in the ring, you kind of worried about yourself, because he would get into that mindset or that mode to where you're thinking that he's, in other words, if he would have walked behind us a number of times and Heenan and I were both like, get the fuck out of here, man, because he'll hit us. So there's a lot of memories about Leon White. And, Conrad, you always, when Leon dies, Dusty dies, Bobby Heenan passes away, Lee Marshall, I can just name some others. Roddy Piper has passed away, Randy Savage. You feel like guys that you work with, and we were all kind of like on one big team, you feel like it takes a part of you. You think about your own mortality, and it takes a part of you with them. And so it's always a very sad time for me, and sad time for, I think, anybody that worked with Leon. But he had his enemies.
We're talking over a hell of a match here with Kurt Angle and Edge. And you've never really seen Kurt Angle wrestle much, right?
I've only seen him wrestle recently when he came back. And I guess he had to wrestle recently. Remember, they called him out because somebody got hurt in a recent WWE event.
Well, I believe the deal is Roman Reigns had some sort of food poisoning. He was real bad sick and couldn't actually perform.
And so they brought Kurt Angle in, and yeah, that's the only Kurt Angle match I've ever seen. I've never seen him do anything at all.
Did you watch him at WrestleMania tagged with Ronda Rousey?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah. So
you didn't really get to see Kurt Angle at his best, and this is arguably Kurt Angle at his best here. Right. What's crazy too is, some people just have such a great aptitude for the business. At this point, he'd only been wrestling a couple of years, and he's already, in featured spots like this. It's, his ability to sort of adapt to this is just incredible. Yeah, because not every wrestler has been able to come out of amateur wrestling and make their way into pro wrestling. And obviously he has to be one of the most memorable stars to be able to do that. But, I saw him in the backstage area when I was at Raw right before WrestleMania, and it looked like he was having trouble walking around. And it looked like that he was just kind of hunched over a little bit. And I mean, obviously he's aged a lot since what we're looking at now, but he looks in pretty phenomenal shape here for 5 years after being in the Olympics. Yeah, it's worth mentioning. He's wrestling here with a broken neck. Good God. He broke his neck in the Olympics and, never really got properly fixed for a few years. Right. So you can only imagine, the pain he's in here and still just sucking it up, man. Well, and it just comes back to this old common adage that we've often talked about. Guys who have had the amateur wrestling experience sometimes have been the toughest guys ever. Steiner brothers, had that amateur wrestling experience. Guys who Cody Runnels amateur wrestling experience. Those guys are tough guys, man. And this is the ankle lock. No, it's not a forward roll into a 2 count. Yep, I tell you what, they are going at it here. And here's Christian coming down. It's kind of interesting, though, because Christian distracting the referee, costing Edge an opportunity for the pin. Right. Angle rolls him up. Still manages to get the kick out here. What's your impression? WWF 2001 so far, Tony? Yeah.
I like it. I like, well, first of all, production wise, I like the look. I mean, the fans, the way it's lit and everything. Oh, not always excited about a ref bump, but there you go. I like the signs. I like everything about it. I go back and look at this, Conrad, and I'm thinking, maybe I should. Is he tapping out? He is tapping out. But there's no referee to see the tap out. I get it now. Maybe I should have stuck. Who the fuck is this coming in? Oh! Is that Shane McMahon?
Yep.
Whoa! Shane McMahon with the spear. And that just sets up their fight they're going to have a little bit later on. So Shane is the owner of WCW at this time, correct? Oh.
Yes. That's correct.
All right. And now the referee go over, and there's your 1, 2, and 3. Pretty good finish. And they get a good reaction shot as well, as only WWE could do back then. Here comes the money. Boy, you didn't have that back then. I always had a propensity to get the right signs up and get them in on TV.
Next up, we're going to see Taz interview Benoit. It is sort of weird to look back at this stuff, and Benoit's just all over it. He's going to be in our main event.
So Taz's career, I guess, is done by this time. He's just kind of doing interviews, and I mean, it wasn't that long ago we saw him on an ECW show, and he was certainly a top star there. But now he's just holding the microphone here.
Just 4 years prior to this, he was main eventing for the very first ECW pay-per-view, and
right.
Kurt Angle was on an undefeated streak, and the first person he lost to was a debuting Taz at Royal Rumble 18 months prior to this.
Here's the angle again. Wow. That's well done.
Shane is an underrated athlete.
Yeah, he is. He really is. And of course, and I've seen now him take that bump off the cage, so I know he'll do some crazy shit. And apparently he's going to do some crazy shit before this night is over as well.
I don't think you're ready.
Really?
Yeah. What you're going to see is something unlike anything you've ever seen before.
Really? I go back to this. You cannot rehearse this shit. These bumps. You can't. We were talking about that. We did our last show when they did that crazy bump in War Games, that superplex off the top. You can't rehearse that. I mean, they'll just say, okay, I'll go up top and you grab somebody and we'll go down. They don't. So I'm sure a lot of the shit they didn't rehearse. And now another look at Diamond Dallas Page here. Man, every time I see Diamond Dallas Page, I smile. Only because I know the hard work that he went through to make himself what he is today.
No, that's outstanding. We've had a lot of fun with him here on the show, but realistically, for him to start as late as he did and be as successful as he was, and then even be able to carry that on into sort of the real world.
All right.
Man, it's a testament to the business.
And, I'm doing the DDP yoga. Look at Jonathan Coachman with some hair here, man. Jonathan was kind of a heel announcer back then too, wasn't he?
Not much has changed.
Okay. Right.
He's my buddy. He's my buddy in real life, but
coaches,
he will piss off some folks on the internet. He ain't scared of shit, boy. Woo.
What, Coach will?
Oh yeah, man. He don't care.
Wow.
Get him riled up. Don't give a fuck.
Well, he went to ESPN, made a hell of a lot of money. Now, look at Kurt Angle, man. He's all ripped.
No doubt about that. I mean, he made a boatload of money everywhere he's been.
All right. Now Angle's now looking for Shaney, one would think here.
Shaney, listen to you.
I'm kind of, who knows? Maybe I'll get a spot on the network someday. And not after they listen to this one, I'm sure, but maybe I'll get a spot on the network.
I don't know if it's necessarily this one that's keeping you out.
Which one would it be?
Yeah, probably all the other ones. Just freestyling.
Okay. Hey, we'd like to say hello to all the glass bottom boat tour guides and our guys who are low-key big hogs who are watching this one. And now here is, I know who this is, Jeff Hardy. See, who's still today, man, is out there. He's been a champion recently.
Coming to the ring here, sporting the light heavyweight title. He's going to be taking on the former 6 or 1, 2, 3 kid or X-Pac, Mr. Sean Waltman. And Sean and Jeff both just look phenomenal here. Have you had a chance to see the new Hardy Boys documentary on the WWE Network called Hardy's Woken?
I have not.
Man, you should see it. They talk about stuff that you just never imagined they would talk about.
Well, they're North Carolina kids, so they grew up liking WCW, NWA back then.
Yeah, they both, specifically Jeff, grew up a super Sting fan, which I totally get.
I do too. And isn't it odd about the match that he and Sting never really had?
Yeah. I mean, they talk about that in the show that, you know, this was like one of his childhood heroes and he fucked it up.
Yeah. Wow. But he's doing okay now. And I got to talk to him backstage and I don't know what you think about what the angle or the character that Matt Hardy has now, but
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I'm digging it.
It's funny. The first time I showed it to Bruce, he was so annoyed. He thought it was the dumbest thing he'd ever seen. And I made him watch it over and over and over. And eventually, you know, he was just like, okay, I get it. It just took long. I mean, cause there really is the opinion. It was one hard way or another. It was just, this is the fucking worst thing ever, or holy shit, this is genius. I mean, there was no in between. And eventually he came around to it. And so, you know, when they were really doing that for the first time down at TNA, I mean, we would just immediately give play by play to the other one and just talk about it because it was just so ridiculous.
Right. I saw the match that they had outside.
Yeah.
Where they climbed the tree and everything. All that shit was pretty good.
Ultimate Deletion.
Yep. The Ultimate Deletion.
And then Final Deletion. And I mean, just outstanding stuff. By the way, if you haven't seen this Jeff Hardy, Sean Waltman match here from 2001, go out of your way to do so. There's lots of fun stuff on this show that sort of gets slept on, but I'm a big fan of all of these guys. And it's sort of fun to see them here so long ago.
Wow, they can do a lot of stuff, man. Gee whiz. And the fans, look at the fans, a couple of good spots at the beginning of it, and the fans not really into it. I guess to each his own here. Gee whiz, both guys could really get it. You know, when he was the 1, 2, 3 kid, look at this, man. Wow. That takes a lot of balance. Not only that takes a lot of courage to do that as well. I mean, your boots could be wet. You could slip. You could break your neck. Every time I see a kid do crazy stuff, I think, your career's not going to last long, kid. But, boy, am I wrong about Jeff Hardy. Look at the stuff he's doing in this one. And still going strong.
Both of these guys at different times have had some real problems and struggles in their personal lives. And thankfully, both of them came out to be wrestling success stories, and that's not always the case. So I'm glad we got a good story here with these guys.
Well, I am too. And it's funny, if you go back and just take a look at each individual wrestler, there's probably, Conrad, more stories of problems in personal lives than there are stories of guys having a normal life being in wrestling. I mean, it's just the way the business is. The business can eat you up, can eat up your personal life because of the demands that were made. I don't know how many house shows they were running back then.
A lot.
Yeah, I'm sure they were. So you think about how much travel they had to do. And it's amazing to me that Arn Anderson and his wife, Erin, are still married after all these years. You just got to really want to make your marriage work, because Arn and those guys worked every night and twice on Sundays, which to me blew me away. They would work Asheville, North Carolina at 3, Charlotte, North Carolina at 8 o'clock. Just an amazing run that they had. And I can understand why there'd be a lot of drinking. And probably with a lot of people, a lot of drugs as well. And broken families. Boy, man, I'm just bringing everybody down here tonight, man.
Yeah.
Talk about Leon dying and broken families and drugs. And
Let's talk about the first time you did cocaine.
I've never done cocaine.
Nah, come on, you're in wrestling.
Nope, never done it.
You never had a little booger sugar?
Never had a little booger. I've smoked a joint. But
Really?
I never had a little booger sugar.
Let's talk about the first time you got high. What was it with Jimmy Valiant, or who were you puffing the Chiba with?
I was a sophomore in college, and we were going to a University of Virginia basketball game, and I was with my good friend Tim Shull, who would smoke some in high school, and I wouldn't touch it. And finally, he got me to do it in college, and so I smoked it through college. And by the time I got married, Lois and I smoked a little bit together. And then I remember one time, like, Lois and I smoked a little bit together, and we were like lazy as shit the next day, just lazy as fuck. And she said, we need to stop doing this. And we've stopped it cold turkey.
But yet she's still lazy as fuck. Are you sure she stopped? I don't know that she stopped.
I don't think that came from smoking. I think that was just ingrained. And not only that, the fact that she found out all the bells and whistles in a smartphone, and all the things they can do, and all the games they can play, and how long you can spend on Facebook. That's turned her attention too. That's made her lazier than before. Just an opinion, could be wrong. But as the technology has gotten better, Lois has gotten lazier.
But yet she's mad at you about the Amazon locker.
Yeah. Did you see that?
Of course I did. Why would I be talking about it if I didn't see it?
Well, okay. Yeah, she's also mad at me about a lot of things too. I want to color my beard. She don't want me to color that.
No, she didn't want you wandering out and getting some of that young poon.
No, those days are gone by. She doesn't want me to do that. She wants to move. I want to stay here at the house.
Where's she want to move to?
She would like to move anywhere. She doesn't like to live here.
Wait, what do you mean here? In the house or in that town?
In this town, East Cobb. She doesn't like living here.
So she would. Where would she like to live instead?
Well, she said she'd like to live in the mountains, and I'm thinking, what the fuck? Well, where the fuck are we going to go? I've got to work in Athens. I've got to work in Gwinnett. You just can't pick up and go to Asheville, North Carolina, or pick up and go up into Helen, Georgia, or up that way. I just can't. So I don't know.
Well, actually, she could. She could go to savecade.com, and we're not doing commercials. It's Patreon, but just technically, I could get Lois into a house, and then you and Bug would be happy.
That's not a bad idea.
You're welcome.
Hey. Lois, you ever heard of savecade.com?
All right. We're not doing promos, remember?
Okay. All right. We're not. I'll just write this down to remind myself about that. No, we've been in this house almost 30 years now, and I don't want to leave. And she says it's time to leave, so I don't want to. So anyway, no, I'm not talking about you.
No, I thought you asked me a question.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
All right, honey. Thank you. Bye-bye.
See if she wants to do a cam show.
Do a what?
Nothing. You want to go ahead and call this here?
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
How's that for a call? You're welcome.
It sounds like you're still at MLW.
Oh. So the light heavyweight champion retains his belt. Purple and gold hair and all. Hell of a matchup, man. And here we are talking about the differences I have with Lois Schiavone. Wow. Is that the Swanton Bomb?
You got it. Look at you.
How about that, buddy?
You know things.
I know some things. The Swanton Bomb from Jeff Hardy. Oh, hey, I saw the angle where Jericho pissed in his tea.
Oh, well, how did you see that?
I have no idea. I think I was just like, because I like Regal so much and I like his character, I was going through YouTube one day and just watching all of his old stuff.
You ever drink pee, Tony?
No. Have you, Conrad?
No.
Okay.
But
Why would you ask me? Why would you ask me if I've ever drunk pee?
Well, you went to college. You did drugs. I mean, you're telling everything.
I smoked a joint or two. That was about it. Now I don't smoke. I don't drink anymore. Nothing. I'm just as boring as you can find out there. This has got to be a great skit that we're seeing right here.
You got an idea of what they're saying here?
No, I don't. But he wants to talk. Steve Regal said, "I don't know what this brute has to say. I don't know what he wants with me. I'm very." Are they calling Vinnie Mac here? Is this what this angle is? Calling Vince McMahon?
Listen to you. You're figuring things out, man.
Yes, I am. And they made Steve Regal what here? Lord Steven. They made him, was he like the general manager?
He's the commissioner.
Oh, commissioner. Very good. Yeah. Very cool.
The match we just saw got 2.25 stars.
Okay.
And yes, that is him talking to Vince McMahon. He's saying, "I need you." And he's begging him to drive out to the arena ASAP.
Okay. And now we're going to, Diamond Dallas Page is going to watch on here as, again, someone is spying on him. So he pulls in Grandma's Oldsmobile here and gets in the backhand. Who is that spying on him?
Grandma.
Pretty good little storyline they've got kind of tied through the show here.
Yeah, I figured you'd like this horse shit.
Yeah, I do.
Awful.
It's awful?
I hate it. Everybody hates it. Yeah, only you like this. I've never met one person who liked this. You're it.
Well, I like intriguing stuff. I mean, I like intriguing storylines that you can weave through an entire pay-per-view. What's wrong with that?
I just love that you're like, no, I like intriguing stuff. It's like saying, I like comedies and music. Yeah, no shit you do. Who doesn't?
Okay.
You know what? While we got a minute, I think we should make you a dating profile.
What's that?
Let's get you a dating profile.
Oh, no, we're not going to do a dating profile. Fuck that.
Listen,
Stop it.
Lois is going to the mountains.
No, Lois not going to the mountains. Yeah. Even if she'd go to the mountains, she has weaned me off of women.
You're going to need a belly warmer.
I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah.
Lois would always say, if anything ever happened to me, what would you do? I said, well, I wouldn't get with any women anymore.
Oh, it's just dudes now.
No, I didn't say that either.
What are you going to do? You're just going to, there's a skeeter on my Peter, whack it off. Is that what you're going to do?
No. I'm just going to watch movies with my dog. That's all I want. Just watch
whack it off.
No.
Wait. In that sentence.
Wait a minute. This is a pretty good angle we got going on
You
here.
were it.
It's a pretty good. I'm not paying attention to all this shit you're talking about because I'm enthralled with this angle. We got to go. Oh, hello. And would that be the Undertaker's wife?
Well, there she is. This is not his current wife, by the way.
Very cool.
They are no longer together.
Uh-huh.
Her name is Sarah. And the Undertaker has a Sarah tattoo on his throat when he comes out.
Just goes to show you, don't do that, man.
Well, I mean, that's what I was wondering because, all this Lois moving out on her own talk didn't really start until you said you were going to get a Lois tattoo, which you've yet to do.
Look, Lois is not moving out on her own. She wants us to move.
Well, I'm sure your neighbors want you to move too.
All right. Oh no, they all right. This is the biker Undertaker, right?
Yes, this is the The American Badass version.
Okay. All right. Which it's cool because, I mean, we know that Mark Callis can do a lot of things, but it's not the iconic Undertaker that we all know about, with his eyes rolling the back of his head and that hat, and that was the cool Undertaker. That was the real Undertaker.
You don't like this one?
Not as well as the other one. You do?
No, I like this one better.
You like this one better than the other one?
Yeah, I didn't like the other one.
Oh, bullshit, Conrad. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit.
Okay.
Okay, I'm calling bullshit on that one.
I mean, I'm allowed to like things.
No, I know, but I don't believe you. I believe you're just trying to.
Look at him coming out here, taking his time. I'm going to make you famous. And he's putting on his gloves and he's going to get in there and kick his ass. Like, this is believable. A motherfucker floating down, making fire shoot out of shit and lightning bolts shoot everywhere, to me is a little less believable than this guy. Like, I guess that's my point with the Undertaker. If you walked into a bar, if you're in a bar tonight, which you would never be, but if you were, and this guy walked in and started popping off to people, you're just going to try to look the other way and fucking stay out of the way. Like, this motherfucker can just walk through whatever. I don't think you need all the other theatrics. And I get that that's awesome. And most of my friends think he's their favorite. I mean, he's their favorite wrestler. And don't get me wrong, he's had some incredible matches and I love it. But I'm just saying, this American Badass was like, okay, now this is a bad motherfucker. Like, we don't have to pretend he's dead or that he's got magical powers. Just look at him. He's intimidating as fuck.
And I agree with all that. But to me, the theatrics are what made him a star.
Oh, I'm not arguing that he's not a star. I mean, I'm a big Undertaker fan, but I'm just saying I liked this version of the character better. It was more believable to me. I guess I should also mention, the Undertaker has a presence about him just walking around. The first time I met the Undertaker, it's like, what do you say? So I called him Mr. Undertaker, which I get is like the dumbest thing ever.
Right.
But as a fan, it's like, I mean, I'm not going to say Mark and I'm not going to say Mr. Calloway. Like, I don't know him like that. So, it's that old Southern thing. Like, if it's a woman, when you're a younger man, if her name is Jessie, then you say, oh, Miss Jessie, like that's what you do. Right.
Or ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Or
no,
ma'am. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, fucking, he's Mr. Undertaker. Well, it's like, when you talk to Hulk Hogan as a fan, I say Mr. Hogan. I don't say Mr. Balea. Or I don't say, what's up, Gene? Like, that's not my deal. There she is. They're not married anymore. You're safe to tell everybody how Roll Tide Undertaker's wife is here.
Wow, buddy. She is fucking Roll Tide.
Woo! I knew that would be your particular flavor.
Wow. No, I just, we're in a bad way. We're in a bad era right now. Here, as you and I are talking in 2018.
Why?
Because you can't call a woman a beautiful woman without getting a bunch of fucking heat about it.
Oh,
Conrad.
man. Let me just tell you, I got the most ridiculous thing ever the other day on Twitter. The slapdick says, what does the future Mrs. Thompson think about you calling her brother's ex-girlfriend Roll Tide in the most sleazy possible way? I'm like, is that possible to say Roll Tide and it sounds sleazy? Shut up, Georgia fan. You know what I'm saying? Like, I said a lady was Roll Tide and now we're mad. And it's like, man, fuck.
We're in a bad place. We are.
Well, you know what? Fuck it. You're on Patron. I'm gonna say what I want to say. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this though. Sarah is less Roll Tide than the current Mrs. Undertaker, in my opinion.
Okay. I also want to draw your attention to, if I can, my very good friend who's standing up right beside of JR, Tommy Carlucci, who is the international producer, and he's been with Vince for 30 years. His son Thomas works backstage area. I've been friends with the Carlucci's for a long, long time. And I just want to draw attention to that because Tommy is a good buddy of mine. One of my longtime friends who I've still stayed friends with, even we only worked together for a year.
Oh, how sweet.
Isn't that nice? Pretty good shit going on here. And just come on, pull out the camera a little bit. There you go.
It really is weird this didn't get over. Everybody hates it.
Hates
this
what?
match,
Hates this angle?
Yeah, everybody hates this. Like this whole storyline. People fucking hate it.
Huh. Okay.
All right, press pause right now. We got to take a timeout and talk about something I'm super passionate about. You've probably heard me bragging about it for a while. I just love it. Here it goes. Henson Shaving. Listen, I've been using the razor for a while. I loved it. I talked about it enough. I convinced my dad to try it. I went to punch in the promo code for him. And when I saw the price for the very first time, I was blown away. I can guarantee you that this is better than any razor I've ever used. And I can also guarantee you it's also cheaper. That blew me away. Usually when something's better, it costs more. How is something better and it costs less? I don't know how, but I love bragging about these folks because I really believe in Henson Shaving. Henson Shaving is a family-owned aerospace parts manufacturer. Yeah, you heard me. Aerospace parts manufacturer. They made stuff for the International Space Station and the Mars rover, and now they're getting that stubble off your face, Daddy. Razor blades are like diving boards. Just learn this, but the longer the board, the more the wobble, well, the more nicks, cuts, scrapes. See, all that irritation stuff that we've all dealt with before isn't like a blade problem, it's an extension problem. That just makes sense to me. These are some smart cats at Henson Shaving, and they put to use their aerospace grade CNC machines. And now they make metal razors that extend just 0.0013 inches, which is less than the thickness of a human hair. And that means a secure and stable blade and a more vibration-free shave. It gets better. The razor has built-in channels to evacuate hair and cream, which makes clogging virtually impossible. Seriously, Henson Shaving wants the best razor, not the best razor business. That means no plastic, no subscriptions, no proprietary blades, and no planned obsolescence. And let me tell you, this Henson razor gives you that old school feel because it's using what feels like a standard dual-edged blade, but these are 0.0013 inches. So it's all the benefits of the old school feel, but the benefits of the new school tech. Seriously, when you hold this razor, you're going to feel like a badass, but no, you're getting a much better shave than Pop ever did. And here's my favorite part of this. Not only is it better than what you've been doing, it's also cheaper. You see, once you own a Henson razor, y'all, it's $3 to $5 a year to replace the blades. Think about how much you've been spending down at the Walmart or the drugstore. It's so valuable they put it behind lock and key. Well, we're going to hook you up here. Check this out. Let's say no to subscriptions, and let's say yes to a razor that will last you a lifetime. Visit hensonshaving.com/WHW to pick the razor for you and use the code WHW to get 2 years worth of blades free with your razor. Just make sure you add them to your cart. That's 100 free blades when you head to hensonshaving.com/WHW and use the code WHW. hensonshaving.com/WHW, and the promo code is WHW. Now let's get back to the program and press play in 3, 2, 1, play.
But this was DDP's big foray into the WWE.
Yeah.
I mean, this was his first big storyline, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Just can't look. You can't deny a beautiful woman. There are beautiful women everywhere. They're roll tide, man. Roll tide.
I love you for that. They're roll tide.
Yeah, I'm saying roll tide. Ah, look at this. Bow, bow, bow. Yeah, he's pretty badass here.
I just dig this version, you know. It is interesting to see, you know, how DDP's wrestling here too. You know, he's in black jeans and like a shirt. Not the standard DDP look.
Yeah. Not the white trash DDP that we came to love in WCW, right?
I love you just called him white trash DDP.
Well, it kind of was. I mean, you know, I've talked about the way he looked and, you know, that cigar and the glasses that he would have and all the different rhinestones he had all over his attire. It was a kind of a white trash DDP. And now he's begging off and took a hell of a bump with The Undertaker. Oh, he's going to leave the arena now. So what's Sarah doing now? Do you know?
I'm not sure. You know, a few years ago, she was trying to sell her wedding dress on eBay.
Really?
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah, I made her an offer. She didn't take it though.
You made her an offer for the wedding dress?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to clarify that.
Yeah. You know, I'm a collector, so I offered her market value, offered her $7, can of Hormel chili, and an unsigned birthday card. And she wrote back something very, very like smart ass.
Yeah, I bet she did.
And I replied, it's cash. You know, because I didn't want her to think she'd have to pay PayPal fees out of that. This is $7 in cash, American currency.
Right.
And you know, Hormel chili is pretty good. And this was an unopened can. I'm not saying we're going to share a can, you know?
You ever mixed Hormel chili with Velveeta cheese?
No, not a fucking, I'm not eating Hormel chili. I was being a smart ass.
God.
Let me just tell you this about the Undertaker just dominating. And maybe that's why this angle didn't get over. They just squashed him right away. But
yeah,
I don't know. DDP just did not resonate with the crowd here. And it's sort of weird to think about that in hindsight, because he was over like fucking Rover in WCW.
All right.
Anyway, as a rule, if it comes out of a can, I don't want to eat it.
Really? So you don't like Spam?
Fuck no. I've never had it, not going to. You're fucking weird for eating it.
No, and you don't like potted meat?
No.
And you don't like Underwood deviled ham?
Nope, not eating that.
Vienna sausages?
Nope, never had it, not gonna.
Okay. Great Northern beans out of a can?
Nope, not eating it. I'm not eating shit out of a can.
Look, can I say this? Hand in your I'm a Southern boy card, because if you haven't eaten that shit, you ain't really from the South.
No, that's not true. Hey,
yeah, that's true.
By the way, let me tell you something. Well, first of all, let's talk about this. This security guard right here, it looks like a gimmick and a half.
Yeah.
I was told by Bruce, actually a real building guy. Like he was at the building. He's not like a local worker or anything. He was a guy at the building. How about that shit?
So he wasn't smarting up to anything that was going on here.
No, I mean, look at him.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's kind of like when we first saw Ralphus, right? We look at him and say, my God. And they made something out of him.
Jericho made something out of him.
Yeah, of course.
Jericho's a visionary.
Yes, he is. Absolutely.
So here's a really good story that we're being told here, where Shane is sort of mocking Kurt Angle and just begging for an ass whooping. There's some fun interactions here. I think you'll enjoy this. This match is really the reason we're watching this. You know, I don't care what Eric says. Eric, of course, talking about the low-key big hog. The real reason we're watching this is this.
You had to see Stacy Keibler. Good God. Oh.
No, we're not allowed to say that, remember?
Oh, I'm going to say that when talking about her. Holy shit, man. So he was mocking Shane was mocking the medals that he won, being Olympic champion, and he'd had enough of that.
Yeah. And they're going to have a fucking street fight here. And you're sort of seeing the story of how we got here.
Uh-huh.
I have one of those ring skirts right there that says Raw is War.
Did you offer $7 in a can of Hormel chili for that?
No, because that's a real wrestling collectible. Like,
okay.
In fairness, what the fuck was anybody going to do with one of the Undertaker's ex-wives' wedding dresses? Do you even hear what I'm saying right now?
Well, I get it, but you do realize that there's always someone out there willing to buy some shit.
Right.
So.
It's cool. Wow. By the way, speaking of buying some shit, I wouldn't be me if I didn't just right now say, where's the fucking six man?
I don't know, Conrad. I don't know.
I mean, what's the deal? Am I going to be able to get that belt
Conrad,
off that band guy or what?
Look, Conrad, do you know what I went through today? Just today before you and I and what's his name? Fucking Pritchard sit down and did the show. Good God. Did you see that video of him flying off the top of whatever he flew off of there?
No.
Fucking shit. Oh, Jesus. Well, anyway, do you realize how spent I am? I don't have time to go and crawl around the attic. You're more than welcome to come to the house and go up in the attic. I would just ask that you bring a vacuum cleaner and help us with the dog hair before you get there.
Why do I got to do that?
No, you don't have to. I would ask that you would to help us out here. And of course,
with all the money you're making on Patron, you can't get a fucking maid.
Yeah.
What's Lois doing? Shopping for houses on Zillow?
What is Lois doing?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what Lois is doing. Fucking nothing. Nothing.
Why are you so intent on keeping her ass? She needs to contribute. She needs to sign up for a low-key big hog and at least contribute. Or, I don't know, stop hanging clothes on the fucking vacuum cleaner and turn the sumbitch on.
She don't even have to. She just has to push a button. I've talked about that. Don't get me started. All right, here we go. I've never seen anything like this, right? A street fight.
No, you haven't. You're not ready for what you're about to see.
Okay.
I feel like I should mention here the match that we just saw was crucified in the
Observer.
Yeah. Here's what it says.
Okay.
Page and Taker got into a big brawl and Taker beat his ass for about 5 minutes straight. I think Page got 2 short comebacks. Finally, Undertaker kicked him in the face and Page retreated through the crowd. Then they played Undertaker's music. Boy, the WWF versus WCW war sure got off to a rocking start. WCW better blow up the WWF headquarters like now, or this feud is going to die a pitiful death, which it did.
Wow.
The match you're about to see here, 4.5 stars. It's sick. You're not ready for what you're about to see.
Okay, well, he's laying them in right now. My God, he laid in that sledgehammer blow and a belly to back. I mean, you look upon this match here. This is one of these matches now. This is back in the day, right? You look at one of these matches, and this is one of these matches that Magnum TA and I called the hook. Because you look at all this stuff. Oh, you just saw Diamond Dallas Page and The Undertaker, and you think, that was bullshit, right? But then you watch these two guys go at it, and you see how Kurt Angle's laying it in here, and you're saying, well, this shit is real. And that's the hook that draws you into the business, that draws you into the sport. Not some of these things. Look at that, man. See, you look at that spear that time, they showed it on the replay, and he's laying those knees in. You're thinking, he's really kicking this kid's ass. Wow. Dragon screw leg whip. Aha. There you go, Mike Tenay. I can say that too, motherfucker. Floats over. So in the course of the street fight, they can bring anything to the ring, I guess.
Yeah. It's no holds barred, man. Get it and
Okay.
get it.
Boy, Shane's aged a lot.
He looks like he's in better shape than ever, though, for real.
Yeah, he does. But I just got to look at it. See, and all of a sudden, the forehead's starting to bleed here. Do you notice that? So this is, this is off to a fucking rousing start. Oh, he's in a down position. I get it. Take your best shot. Fucking great. Wonder who set this match up.
I mean, look at that.
Wow.
Just beating on him.
Yes, sir, man. It's real. Fucking, I'm digging this, man. I'm absolutely digging this. How much, of course, this is JR and Paulie, which had worked together before, I know, and worked together in WCW, but this is before JR and Jerry the King Lawler became quite an item. Look at that throwaway German suplex over the top. Look at, oh, man. Now, is that a blade job? I mean, it looks like he cut a ridge across his forehead there.
I'll let you form your own opinion.
Okay. Or it could be the fucking hard way. Wow.
Something else, man.
Yeah. I'm with you, man. He's just laying it in. I mean, this is just an ass kicking. Is what this is. Wow.
I think your dog is really enjoying this.
No, that's Chewy. He cries when Lois walks the other dogs.
I feel like that's sort of a metaphor for your life.
Yeah. Chewy is Lois's dog and Bug's mine, and we got our own dogs. Look at that face, buddy. Wow. Come on, come get me again, buddy. Go get him. And I guess I still haven't seen shit yet, have I?
No. It's a good match, but yeah, we're picking up steam.
Yeah. In the context of things, was Shane a heel here too, like his daddy was? I know he and his daddy were like, on the same side in the battles against Stone Cold.
There's lots of tweeners here, but yeah, I mean, he's sort of the evil boss, but he's also, he got a pop when it was announced that he was the owner, so it's a little bit of everything right now. There's lots of gray, there's not
right.
like
takes him back down, man. Gut wrench. I mean, this is snug.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, this is fucking snug stuff. Uh-oh, here we go. Now we're going to do some shit. See, the fans right now are like, a lot of them are fucking stunned because they're not sure here. And that's one of the magic things about the business that's gone from the business. They're not sure here. They think they know. They're not reacting because they're not sure. Like, are we really seeing a real fight here? It's kind of like when, you go to a wrestling match and a real fight breaks out in the stands. They just kind of stand and look. Uh-oh. What is this crazy fucker going to do now? Well, a tough place for an announcer to be, man. Oh, that's Sarah. Wow.
Shane, just fearless, man.
Yeah, he is.
Pulling out all the stops.
Yeah. And I had heard he was before, and then I saw what he did recently, jumping off that cage to the, on one of the recent pay-per-views. Was that Hell in the Cell?
Man, he jumps off shit on the regular,
Yeah.
If Shane's on the card and you show up and there's something high, everybody just says, oh, Shane's jumping off that. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but that's real.
Yeah. Kendo stick, because he doesn't have to do it every day. Oh. But then again, you got to be in some pretty damn good.
I was fixing to say, you don't have to do it every day either, but your ass ain't jumping off of shit.
No, that's right. But you got to be in some very good shape to be able to do that. Wow. He just broke that fucking kendo stick across his back. Here we go.
To the concrete floor.
Yes, sir, man. Come on. See, now they are, as a shoot, winded here. I mean, I don't think this is selling here. I think this is
Oh, yeah. They're both trying to blow each other up for sure.
Yeah. I'm surprised because of all the shit. I mean, look, to be able to put a 4.5-star match on, and to be able to do this, you got to have not one, you got to have two guys that can really get it. I'm surprised Shane didn't do this on a regular basis, but I guess maybe he didn't have to, right?
Yeah.
Just arm whip him into the safety rail, so to speak.
By the way, we want to thank everybody for listening and supporting us here on Patreon. It's a bit of a new venture for Tony and I, and this is only our second bonus show. And as a reminder, if you're a low-key big hog, you get to pick what shows we're going to be talking about here. And we're really excited to bring this one to you because this is a classic. Of course, we've covered the NXT War Games, and we're going to pick two more for the month of July. So if you haven't already, consider, trying to convince some friends to join Patreon and join us here in the fun. Of course, Low-Key Big Hog is sold out, but there's 22 more of you guys out there who are going to get to pick a show for us. And one by one, we're going in the order in which you signed up. And I want to encourage you to pick something fun. I had somebody from CZW actually reach out and say, "Hey, I've heard you mention that a few times. If you really want to get Tony to watch a death match, let me know. And I hope you guys with a code," which I thought was pretty nice. This is essentially a death match you're watching here today, though. These guys are getting after it, man.
I noticed on Patreon, we also ask for the feedback when we post shows, and I posted our last bonus show, and one of the patrons, who's the Low-Key Big Hog, said, "I didn't realize we were voting on shows. How do we do it?" So how do we pick? Explain that to our listeners.
Well, we're going to have a vote whenever there's a situation where a guy says, "Hey, I'm not sure which one." It's pretty common, even in these first two. I mean, the benefit of being a Low-Key Big Hog, though, is that you get to pick the show, and we're going to do 2 bonus shows a month, one on the current product and one from anywhere ever. And our current product was NXT from last year, which I count as the current product. And this is obviously anytime, anywhere. Right. But if we have a situation where somebody says, "Hey, I'd like to listen to any of these 4, then we'll put it to a vote. I mean, we'll put it to a vote to everybody. We'll put it to a vote for our patrons here. Even this show, I don't know if you saw the email. He was sort of back and forth on, well, this one, that one. And this is where we wound up.
So this is the show that Eric wanted. And we had, of course, the other show, but for other guys who are Low-Key Big Hogs, we're going to take your suggestions too, right?
Yep.
In other words, we got so many levels and so many different things that you can do. Basically, it comes down to this. We want your input. We want to connect with you. We want you to be a part of what we're doing. So if we haven't picked you yet, all you Low-Key Big Hogs, you're going to get your shot. Man.
Yeah, we're going in order, as I said.
Right.
So, coming your way, Bubba.
And we've had some fun so far. We've done some great things. We've had some great videos we've posted, and Lois Schiavone's kind of trying to get into this here as well. Is he trying to put a Scorpion Deathlock on him here? Holy shit.
Well, they call that a sharpshooter here.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, I'm from Southern Wrestling. I got it. And he said Bruce Pritchard. Calling me from Southern Wrestling. He's from Houston, Texas.
He's a hillbilly.
Yeah, Paul Bosch and that crew.
Nobody even likes Paul Bosch. You know what?
Well, I do. Watch out.
What?
I actually thought he was going to jab that thing right up his butthole, man.
Man, you've been watching too much porn or something, dude. Why did you think there was going to be a butthole thing here on the show?
Because he turned and he had it in his hand like a device. And when he turned, the only thing he saw was Shane's ass. So my first inclination would have been with me, I'm going to take the handle of this thing and just jab it right up the asshole there to break away.
Is that normally your go-to? Sticking things up asses?
No.
I heard something this week I wanted to share with you, and I'm sure you'll be delighted to hear it.
Oh, God.
Being serious. The most proven way to stop the hiccups is not to have someone scare you.
Yeah.
It's to have someone jab a finger up your ass. That's real.
Who first tried that?
A male doctor, for sure.
Okay, I hope so.
But I'm just saying, if you look that up.
Jab a finger up your ass.
Like most effective hiccup remedy cure.
Really?
All right.
Not the end of a kendo stick, but a finger.
Here's some other suggestions. Drink a glass of water quickly. Have
Right.
someone frighten you. Pull hard on your tongue. Have you heard any of those?
I've heard drink a glass of water fast. Yeah. Fuck.
Here's the pitch. Termination of intractable hiccups with digital rectal massage. Digital meaning your fingers, not a computer.
Yes.
A computer took your job, Daddy.
He is just fucking laying his ass out with this trash can.
Digital rectal massage.
Digital rectal massage. Hey, Lois, could I get... No, I'm not going to start that.
If she comes down here, you got to do it for the low key big hogs. We're going to need to.
We're going to need to have...
How about this? How about this right here? Trash can on him.
Yep.
Shane's on the top rope. Shooting star onto the trash can. Kurt Angle moves out of the way, and Shane just eats it.
Yeah. And I draw your attention to, pull off of them. I draw your attention to those guys front row ringside. They're like fucking stunned silence. And you know you're doing something right when that happens. Oh, they're going to show it again. Yes, sir, man. Fuck.
That's the boss's kid doing shooting stars onto trash cans.
Yeah, you know, and I get it. They shouldn't have shown that replay, though, because you could see that he landed on his elbows and knees. But that's all right. It looked good when it happened.
You're a dickhead. So.
No, I'm not a dickhead. Sometimes you just shouldn't show a replay. Sometimes replays expose the business. They really do. And I get it. You've got this great production machine called the WWF. They're going to show it one more time, right? Okay. Fireman's carry pickup. Just shoot his ass outside. There you go. Yeah. This is a good one, man.
It is a good one.
You know what? I'm loving going back and watching this shit. I really am. I'm loving going back and watching shit that I missed because nobody wanted me in the business at that time.
Tony, dry those tears. You're about to have a wrestlegasm.
Okay. The big spot's coming up, huh?
We'll see.
One of the big spots.
We'll see. I don't think you're ready.
All right. Trying to do a vertical suplex.
Suplex onto the floor.
Look.
Are you kidding?
Jesus. And this is just a kind of a carpet rolled up on top of a steel runway or on a concrete floor. This is not any padding here at all.
No.
Yeah. That's when the guys, you know, their heads get together and they say, "You okay? Yeah. You sure? Yeah." See, now he's bent over like that and he's going to mount him from behind and
he's going to mount him from behind.
Well, that's what it looked like. He was on all fours and he was crawling behind him. He just
mount him from behind. Listen to you.
And look, hey, you know what? They're laying the shit in right now. And, you know, Kurt Angle being the great former amateur wrestler that he is, I know take the shit, but man.
All right, Tony.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I hope I am.
So if you're listening to this and not watching, you probably know what we're about to reference because you're a wrestling fan and you're not like Tony and you just abandoned it.
Yeah.
Kurt Angle and Shane Douglas are near the top of the entrance set here.
Yeah. Did
your shit just skip? Where are you at time-wise?
I'm at 158.25. He just sent him over the top into the set. Where are you?
How about it?
Wow. A vertical suplex into the set? Fuck. Jesus. The amazing thing that here I go back to this. They're not done yet, are they? They're going to do some other crazy shit here. Oh! Just broke him right through the glass. Jesus Christ. And again, look at the glass on, look at him bleeding. And Shane's head and the shoulder of, holy fuck. Oh,
How about the replay here, Tony?
What's that?
How about that replay?
Oh. All right, the replay's just coming into play now. Wow. And again, you just... So they're going to fight on the glass. What the flying fuck? Look at the glass is stuck. They're going It didn't break that time. He was going to throw him through it again, and they shot back, and you can see a bloody, my God, you can see a patch of blood on that KOR sign from the back. Kurt Angle, when he picked him up, had a shard of glass stuck in his shoulder. What the fuck? They're not done yet. They go, yep. Well, I tell you what, they redefined a street fight here, didn't they?
They're not
They really
done.
did.
They're not done, Tony.
Holy fuck.
There's glass everywhere.
Shane McMahon bleeding like a fucking stuck pig. And they're going to show I'm showing the replay right now here, and he tried to break it twice. It didn't break, so he just threw him head first through the glass. Oh!
Both guys
Amazing.
covered in blood, glass shards everywhere, shoulders, thighs,
Yeah.
chest, arms, everywhere.
And the referee says, what's the referee trying to tell him to do? Get it over with before somebody dies?
The referee, you see, checking on a prone Shane, putting his hand in Shane's hand to see if he'd squeeze it back. Is he still alive?
Yeah.
It's the second time he tried. First time, no response. Kyoto went back for the second one. Shane gave the squeeze, letting him know, I'm okay. But look at his back.
Oh my God. That's something out of a horror movie.
And this is, of course, as close to a death match as we're ever going to get in the WWF at the time.
Yeah.
But what you're seeing here is essentially, what every death match is like in independent wrestling. There's glass and bumps on the floor and craziness, and they turn the volume up even more. But, to see an Olympic gold medalist and the owner's son do this is really just fucking something else. It's surreal.
Yeah.
And you see the glass just stuck all to Shane. It's in his body.
At least he had a shirt and long pants on. I mean, look at the back of Angle. You can see the glass shard stuck in the back as he's pushing him to the ring. Jesus fucking Christ.
But, by the way, it's worth mentioning, and this sort of gets glossed over in the story of this match. This is Kurt Angle's third match.
Really?
He wrestled
third ever.
He was no. I mean, in this
third
show,
match in the night.
You've seen him wrestle 3 matches tonight. Yeah. I mean, he wrestled Christian, he wrestled Edge, and now, here he is wrestling Shane.
My God. You know what's unfortunate in my life is that I met Kurt Angle before I saw this match.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to be able to talk to him again after seeing this.
And he kicked out.
And of course he did. Oh, blood on the mat.
You can see there's even a shard of glass, like where his face rolled over. And of course the blood got all over the canvas, but there's a piece of glass where his face touched it too. And it's almost a horror movie where he still kicks out. He just won't go.
Right. Meanwhile, the slapdicks are standing up at rings there saying, what the fuck are we watching?
Well, I mean, how do you explain this?
No, you can't explain it. What you're watching is the hook. What you're watching is these guys think this motherfuckers really hate each other. Oh, nothing like a good old nut shot to turn the tide. Fuck.
It's insane that this happened.
Yeah.
And again, that it happened with a fucking gold medalist with the boss's son. Crazy. I'm a big fan of this match, and this is clearly why this was selected.
And I get it now, man. I get it that you wanted me to see it. I mean, you said you've never seen anything like it, and you're right.
It's nuts, man.
Look at that. Am I right to say he's got a shard of glass stuck right up in his nose there? In the side of his nose?
Yeah, it looks like it. It looks like he's got glass everywhere. He just went through that last pane.
Yeah, head first.
Yeah,
head first.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's insane.
Now, to prove that it wasn't really just breakaway glass, they catapulted to the top. They shot each other, or he shot Shane to that glass a couple of times, and it wouldn't break. Had it been breakaway glass, it would have broken the first time they fell up against it.
Well, and they've explained why that was the case. And I know this sounds crazy, but hear this out. They had all that pyro right there to open the show. So if it was some sort of sugar glass, the base from the pyro would have just broken that glass straight away.
Right.
So they had to use real fucking glass.
Jesus.
I mean, obviously it's not safety glass or anything, but you know what I mean.
But still, it's glass.
It is. And as if that's not enough, now we're just hitting motherfuckers with boards. I mean, look at the absurdity of this. I threw him through glass, not once, but twice. I threw his ass all over concrete. I hit him with trash cans and kendo sticks, and fuck it, I'm going to hit him with this board. And what a crazy spot this is. You see Kurt Angle prop the board up across the top rope in the corner. And he's going to jerk Shane Douglas or Shane McMahon up, pick him up in the Olympic slam, the angle slam off the top rope. The crowd goes bananas. Your finish off the top rope. And it was secured by a wooden board.
Yeah.
See if Kurt can make the cover here.
2, 3. Jesus. I don't know if they had payoffs back then or not, but whatever they paid him wasn't enough money.
It's crazy, is it not?
It's absolutely crazy.
Wait a minute. Is Lois coming down?
Yeah, she is coming down.
Here we go.
What? What do you mean, here we go? What are you going to do?
Nothing. I'm not going to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Get on there and tell Papa Tony what's what. Go on, Chewy.
She's bringing me down a charger for my iPad here because my iPad was kind of running down.
Yeah, I can't believe I do this stuff for you.
Thank you, honey. I love you so much.
Start sending you a bill.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
You gonna put me on the payroll?
No, I meant the charger that you plug in.
What? You said a charger.
The power cord.
What power cord?
Thank you. All right, they're going to look at this again. Wow. Spot of the night, guys. Spot of the night. Wow. So here's the thing about this, Conrad. Somebody's got to follow this shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that somebody is Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Wow.
It's a tough deal, man.
Yeah. I'm loving it. Well, listen, I know we got some more to go in this, but I want to thank Eric for suggesting this. And look at that. My God. Conrad, I want to thank you for getting me to fall in love with this fucking business again, man. Jesus.
Well, it's nice of you to say, man. We're glad to have you back and glad to expose you to some really great, once in a lifetime type of shit right here.
Who are these referees? Are they still in the business? Helping him out?
The one on the left is on Raw about every night. The one on the right's on Twitter all the time. Jimmy Corderas. He wrote a book. You should check it out. But he does some stuff with a television station in Canada that you don't get. But still, both these guys still very active in the business. And of course, Shane McMahon is Shane McMahon. And there you go. You see him.
Look at that.
Carried to the top. And then he says, nope, I'm walking out on my own.
I never did anything for you.
Absolutely.
Hey, the bug.
And here comes Jericho. Absolutely, man. I got to follow this shit.
Come on, Chewy.
Chris Benoit. Breaks my heart to see him every time. Sorry to say. What do you think Benoit ranks in the, there's
Slap dick.
Austin just had a presence about him, didn't he? Just the way he walked around.
Still does. He carries himself like a star.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy when you think about it, really.
Is that the Brooklyn Brawler?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Also no longer with the company. With him 30 years, thrown out on his ass.
Welcome to the wrestling business.
I think it's because he did a podcast with Taz. Which is really shocking to me, if I'm honest.
What, that he was thrown out of the business or did a podcast with Taz?
I'm going to be quiet now.
Why are you going to be quiet now? You've never been quiet a day in your life. Why are you going to be quiet now?
Feels like I'd be piling on somebody who's not ready to handle it, you know? If you're not emotionally equipped to handle it, I won't do it.
Gotcha.
So here we go. We've got a really cool story here. And the story here, of course, is Stone Cold Steve Austin was running wide open here with Hunter Hearst Helmsley. And they had a really phenomenal match on Raw as a tag team. So it was Jericho and Benoit against Austin and Triple H. And in the middle of that match, Triple H tore his fucking quad. So all the plans change right away. And so now they're trying to figure out, how do we continue this Jericho, Benoit, Austin thing? So instead of making it 2-on-1, we make it into a 3-way and put these guys against each other and allow Austin to sort of stir it up a little bit and cause those guys to lose their tag belts, which we saw earlier today. They would lose them to the Dudleys. But you've also got this Linda, Vince, everybody's in the middle. How about a stunner on a woman there? Not something you could see these days, but they were doing it a lot back then, boy.
Yep.
How about Vince McMahon on the Hawaiian shirt? Hawaiian shirt Vince is my favorite, my second favorite Vince. Do-rag Vince is still number one, but Hawaiian shirt Vince is number two.
In this, help me out here, because you're his good buddy now and you've been following this stuff, but when did Eric Bischoff arrive in all of this?
No, it wasn't. I mean, it was like another year or two.
Okay. So he didn't come over at the beginning.
No, he was off making TV shows and whatnot. He actually left WCW, as you remember, with Hulk Hogan in July 2000, but then tried to put a deal together to purchase it. That didn't work out. He showed up in about a year after this, I guess. I think it's like July of 2002. So it's about 13 months later, he pops up.
And becomes like the general manager of Raw or something that, right?
Yeah. And he'd be there a few years, but then just made sort of sporadic. Man, he leaves in 2005, but then he made like some sporadic appearances. And then of course we know he went to TNA, and you're persona non grata for WWE when you go to TNA. Well, you're persona non grata to all of wrestling there for a while.
Right.
By the way, do you know Don Callis? Does that name ring a bell?
Yes, it does ring a bell.
He was doing a lot of stuff back in the day on the independents, and then he made a name for himself as part of the Truth Commission with the WWF in like 97. But then he popped up in ECW and did commentary there. And there's rumor and innuendo that Eric Bischoff really had his eye on Don to be one of the announcers had he gotten control of WCW with that Fusion Media buyout. Anyway, Don Callis has taken the reins for Impact. So whereas a lot of people just sort of shit on Impact for years and years and years, it was just sort of the in vogue thing to do. People are really starting to give it a second chance and say, well, if Don's there, maybe this can be something. So I'm hopeful that he has tremendous success there.
Yeah, me too. I'm trying to, again, rack my brain. I've taken a lot of heat on these shows about Schiavone doesn't remember shit, and I get it. I'm old. But also, I didn't remember shit that wasn't important to me and wasn't important to the company. So I remember the name Don Callis, but I'm not so sure if I ever met Don or not. So
if you did, it was a brief hi and bye. I mean, I don't think you guys were working in the same company at the same time,
right.
Really.
Right. Yeah, Jericho coming out here, man, he holds himself like a star too.
You know what's weird is in this era, like, I know I'm in the minority, but Jericho 98 WCW is one of my favorite years for a wrestler ever. I just love everything he did, but I felt like when he showed up here in the WWF, it just wasn't the same for me. And I just didn't dig him as much. And I remember even this pay-per-view just being like, this fucking guy. But now when I go back and look at it now, I have a whole new appreciation for it. And I think it was because at the time, well, first of all, my interest in wrestling was waning. And I think I felt like, Benoit was really the rightful guy who had deserved to be here, but just maybe wasn't a strong promo or didn't have the presence or character that a guy like Austin had. And so Austin here still feels like the main event. And it feels like we're trying to sort of make the other guys, but it feels like Benoit was sort of next in line. And so to me, Chris Jericho felt like a little out of place. Like, this guy's got no shot. Like, it's clearly Austin's night. And even if it weren't, they'd put it on Benoit before Jericho. And that was just me sort of trying to play armchair quarterback, I guess, with the booking or whatever, and not really just appreciating it. Now that I can go back and watch this with a fresh set of eyes, which I did this week, it was like, fuck, man, Jericho was really the man even back here. And I just didn't see it because in my head, there's a pecking order. He's not going to get it.
Well, you remember the Jericho that was funny, irreverent.
I really felt like it was the Jericho. It was like the real Jericho. And of course, years later, we find out, well, no, that's true. Here, he's still doing what somebody else is writing for him. But also too, he's being positioned here to not be, sort of middle of the card funny guy. He's positioned, hey, you're working Stone Cold Steve Austin in the main event. So that same funny ha shit maybe isn't always, if that's all you're doing, maybe that doesn't get you here. It's that thing in business where, what gets you to a certain level might not be what gets you to the next level. You got to sort of switch it up. As JR would say, you got to learn a new hold. Well, I feel like that's sort of the process that Jericho was in here, where he's trying to figure out, what worked in WCW isn't going to work here. You got to do some different stuff. And obviously he figures it out because just a few months after this, he beats Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock in the same night to be the first undisputed champion. So he clearly figured it out. But like, even when you look at that that WrestleMania the next year, it's like an afterthought. It's all about Hogan and Rock. And it's about putting the belt back on Hunter. It's not about featuring Jericho, even though he's in the main event. It wasn't about featuring him. And I don't know. At the time I was just like, well, duh, they're just going to have him drop it to Hunter. And I couldn't really appreciate the run or the work he was doing. But now that I go back and look at it, I totally can. And it's weird to give compliments, but everything Benoit does here is so fucking crisp. He has an air of believability. Benoit was one of those guys who could make you really suspend disbelief. Yeah. Where you could say, like the old Ray Stevens, you're going to believe in me. And so you might not believe anything you're saying is legit until you see him. And then you're like, okay, well, now that was real.
Right. And only guys like a Benoit and even Jericho and the superstar that was at that time Stone Cold Steve Austin could have followed something like we just seen.
Yeah, in this era, Austin could follow anything. You know, Austin is the biggest star in the history of the business at this point and getting just huge pops. And obviously Hulk Hogan sort of helped put wrestling on the map, and certainly this company. And he's really the Babe Ruth of wrestling here. But Austin is just white hot.
Right.
And he's sustained it. Whereas, you know, Goldberg really did not. And that's not maybe popular, but it's the truth.
Well, that's because it was a different persona, and Steve Austin could cut a promo and
Absolutely.
Goldberg really couldn't.
Yeah. Don't say that to Eric Bischoff though. He gets hot about that.
What, that Goldberg couldn't cut a promo?
Yeah. Because, you know, I said, you know, in the scheme of things, what's the difference between Goldberg and Wrath? And Bischoff got really pissed off at that.
Really?
And I was like, you know, he's like, well, one guy was awesome and one guy wasn't, or whatever. And I'm like, well, because you made him awesome, because you let him win. He's like, no, Wrath couldn't cut a promo. And here's my thing. And everybody listening to this knows, I hit him with, what's your favorite Goldberg promo? Motherfucker had nothing, you know. And realistically, like, for all the great talkers in our business,
Yeah.
in your business, I'm a fan.
No. Okay. You could say our business if you
Well,
want.
I just mean, you know, that's the expression, in our business, but it's not my business. I'm a fucking fan. But in the sport that I love, you can hang your hat. There's like marquee landmark interviews. So like with Dusty Rhodes, you know, everybody's got their favorite cold-blooded sausage maker. I'm glad it was me and you, edge of a lightning bolt, 1,000 different ones. But really the one everybody comes back to is Hard Times.
Right.
And with Steve Austin, he's got 1,000 great promos. One of the most underrated lines ever is during the Hart Foundation feud when he said, give your ass to the Lord, give your soul to the Lord, but your ass belongs to Stone Cold.
Yeah.
But Austin 316, that's the one. It put him on the map. And so to me, even Jericho, he's got a ton of great promos, and a lot of people remember a ton of them. You know, you just made the list and blah, blah, blah. But to me, where he's listing the holds in WCW, that's my favorite Jericho promo ever, where it's arm bar. And then he lists arm bar. Like that's my favorite thing ever. And so I've just got one of those for everybody. With Ric Flair, it's spill liquor. And there's just like even Jake the Snake, it's WrestleMania 6. Like I can say, this is the one.
Right.
But shit, man, Goldberg, what's your favorite Goldberg promo? Fucking nothing.
Right.
And that's to me how I sort of differentiate the top guys, like A+ versus A-. I'm not saying he's not a guy who was important to the business, but I'm just saying I can name promos. Like I'll never forget a Macho Man. It was like on MSG Network or something. And he's doing a promo backstage, and this is when he's Macho King and he's got Sherry with him, and he's like pushing the head of like Sean Mooney. He's bow. And it's just, it's so silly, but like that stuff resonates. And you know, that if you don't have a promo like that, I don't think you're going to be one of those names that sort of stands the test of time forever and ever.
Let me throw this out at you. I'm thinking of this as you're talking. I can't name a Chris Benoit promo that I can remember.
That's exactly right. And so there's a level. Like, I'm not saying that to be ugly. I believe Chris Jericho, I mean, I think he's A+, but the difference between Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit overall is the promo. I mean, I don't think anybody, even Jericho, would debate Benoit was probably a better in-ring worker, but not so much more that it made up for the lack of the promo ability. To me, Jericho is a better all-around performer than Benoit ever was. And people may not agree with that, but whatever.
That's not discounting what Benoit can do, and I understand it. And
no. Well, first of all, fuck Benoit, but I'm just saying in terms of the actual in-ring stuff, like he would have never been an A+ guy. Like even Eddie Guerrero was a better promo. I'm not saying that in a funny way, but I'm just saying like Eddie Guerrero to me, much better performer than Benoit. And it goes back to the promo, because I could tell you an Eddie promo that I really enjoyed, but like Arn Anderson, a guy we put over on the show all the time. I got favorite Arn Anderson promos. Fuck, I got favorite Psycho Sid promos. I got nothing for Goldberg. And there's a handful of other guys like that. And I would even say, and this pisses everybody off, if you take 1997 out of there, You can't
Yep.
name a great Bret Hart promo.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
97, he was the man. He had so many during that America, Canada shit, like the go home Raw before WrestleMania 13. Unbelievable. And then when he's really turning his back on America and talking about Pittsburgh, and if you were to give the United States an enema, you'd put the hose right here in Pittsburgh. Like, that's so great. There's so many of those great ones. But then let's go to 98, fucking nothing.
Yeah. Wow. Well, again, the promo is, and I think it's kind of become a lost art. I really do. And the reason I think and I stop me if I've said this here on this program before. The reason I think it's become a lost art is everything is so scripted now.
No,
they do not let the guys do what they could do.
Well, see, here's the thing on that though. And I agree in theory, but at the same time, not disparaging anybody. Everything The Rock's ever said on TV was scripted by Brian. So, you know, on some level, it's not that we hate scripting. We just hate bad promos. And there are certain guys who can do it and should be allowed to do it on their own. And there's other guys who can't do it. Like Ric Flair, if you gave him a script, it's not going to be as good as what he would just come up with on his own. Because what matters is he believes it, you know?
Right.
It's not necessarily what he's saying. It's the way he's saying it. Like if anybody else did a Dusty Rhodes promo, they said exactly what Dusty said. They just said it the way they say it, not the way he says it. Yeah. You'd say, this is fucking horrible. There's no better example of that than Roddy Piper. Half of Roddy Piper's, if you just read the script, you're like, this is nonsensical jibber jabber bullshit. What is this? But when he delivers it, you're like, oh, that was kind of fucking fun right there.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of lousy promos, I guess you heard Big Cass was let go.
Oh my gosh. What a transition.
I thought he had some potential, but I just thought his promos lacked a lot of stuff.
Well, he'll be back.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
I mean, you're going to be that tall. You're going to go out, learn a new hold, have a change of perspective. You'll be back. Whatever his issue was, because there's lots of rumor and innuendo. Mm-hmm. He'll fix it. And he's big enough and good enough to get a second shot. And it's probably not what he's thinking about right now, but he'll be back and he'll be fine.
Did he just put a stone cold stunner on Steve Austin himself?
Yes, he did.
All right. And no referee to be found. Get up, come on. They're telling a pretty good story in this match. I think they really are.
It's a great match. And the ending's kind of fucked, but it's a great match. Yeah.
Yeah. It's something that you can have a great match, and sometimes if the ending is kind of fucked, you'll walk away saying that wasn't that good a match. But I think in this case, is that the big gold belt or is that Austin's belt?
That's Austin's. It's nicknamed the Big Eagle.
The Big Eagle. Okay. Now Jericho and going on the outside, and they're laying them in too here, man. Very good. This guys knew how to throw working punches. Well, that didn't look too good. But that's what you got to do to protect yourself. Great show, man. It really is. This is a great time.
I'm glad you're digging it, man. It is a good show.
Yeah, it is.
I feel like it's sort of forgotten about, but every match we've seen has been entertaining and solid. There's really not been anything where you're like, oh God, change the channel.
Yeah.
But the takeaway is most definitely, I mean, there's no doubt about it, going through that glass with Shane and Kurt. And I'm going to challenge you, when you go back and want to show Lois this, or you got a free minute, find that spot again and listen to it with the sound. You can hear Shane McMahon's head hit the concrete. I mean, it's fucking brutal.
I have a newfound respect for Shane Douglas, but Shane McMahon.
Did the same thing. Yeah.
But a newfound respect for Shane McMahon, but even more so for Kurt Angle.
Yeah, because that's the guy, that's the last thing he should be doing.
Right.
That's the last place he should be. But not only is he doing it, he's doing it fucking awesome.
Yes.
I guess we should mention right fast. Hypothetically speaking, Mr. Patron listeners, there was a phenomenal match in the summer of 2005 between the Necro Butcher and Samoa Joe at the old ECW arena. And
the Necro Butcher?
Yeah, that's a real wrestler. What do you think about that name?
The Necro Butcher.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a creepy name in itself.
Well, here's what's great about it too. In that match, Samoa Joe gets him on the ring apron and gives him like a T-bone suplex to the concrete floor. And Necro Butcher's fine. He breaks the fall with his fucking skull. And I was on the opposite side. I was at the arena that night and I was at the opposite side and you could hear the thud. And I thought, he's dead. Like he's fucking dead. And I would love to show you that. From
2005. Is it on the network somewhere?
No.
It's gotta be, right?
No,
it's not.
No, this is an independent company who's WWE's not cutting deals to guys like that right now. They will one day. I hope.
Yeah. A lot of great performers around the world that haven't got their shot yet. And
Necro Butcher's retired. I didn't mean that. I just meant like an independent promotion, like a CCW and IWA. They're not looking for libraries like that just yet. They will one day.
So it could be on YouTube somewhere, maybe.
Oh, it's 100% online. I can send you a link, but I'd much rather watch it and get your reaction because by the way, Necro Butcher's a guilty pleasure.
Just by the name, it sounds like one. Hey, I also like to, I'd like to thank you for letting a big old watery fart and running Bruce Pritchard out of this podcast.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
He sort of took over there. My bad.
No, that's all right. I'm glad he did. He's an entertaining fucker, and I and even Eric Bischoff, thanks to you, are following in his footsteps.
Well, I appreciate you slapdicks believing in me and rolling the dice. And who would have thought a year ago that A, you'd still be doing it. B, that you wouldn't have remembered a goddamn thing still. And C, that we'd be on Patron. Cause normally, Dad doesn't even let me get near the Patron.
Well, well, this is a cool back and forth here on their knees. I'm digging being able to shoot videos, the thing we did with Lois, and we got a lot more of that shit coming up. We got our slapdick theater coming up. I've got some great ideas about that. So we're going to have some entertaining shit that I hope are, and we just got people Conrad, that just like us,
Well, you specifically, man, you're like, I even pitched Bruce on this. I said, man, here's what we need to do. We need to let you and Tony like cohabitate for a week.
Yeah.
And then just film all that shit and let y'all be like the odd couple of wrestling. Right. And he'd probably be more apt to do it with you than say a Jerry Jarrett.
Right.
By the way, we've been talking about Jerry Jarrett a lot on the other show for a long, long time. I don't know that I've ever got your take on Jerry Jarrett.
Is he still alive?
Yeah.
Okay. I only met Jerry Jarrett one time, so I don't have a take on
him. What do you have a Jerry Jarrett impression?
No, I don't. I've heard Bruce do,
Oh, okay. Well, what stood out about your meeting with him though? Anything?
Yeah. What stood out about it that he didn't shut the fuck up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's where I met him. I met him the Stone Cold Stunner. I met him in the backstage area
of TNA
at TNA, and I was watching the monitor. I think I've told this story, and I'm watching the monitor, and I'm seeing my life and my career flash in front of me, and I'm watching. I'm listening to Don Weston and Mike Tenay, and I'm listening to them scream out of every single stupid bump and high spot, and I'm thinking, man, I used to do this shit, and man, I don't want to do this shit anymore. And then the entire time I'm thinking to myself and talking to myself, and watch this, Jerry Jarrett's not shutting up. He's right to my right, just blah, 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 blah. And I didn't hear a fucking word he said. So I remember finally I took a breath and I started paying attention to what he's saying. I'm saying, what is he fucking talking about? And why am I listening to him? And why am I backstage? And fuck the business. So Jerry Jarrett was kind of juxtapositioned into me finally saying, fuck the business in that night. So that's what I remember about him. Because, I mean, he just kept talking to me. I guess he was trying to tell me what he knew in the business. I'm not so sure. So, and why would his name come up right now?
Because I pitched the odd couple of you living with Bruce for a while.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I said that he would be more apt to do it with you than say a Jerry Jarrett.
oh, okay. Got it.
Man, I feel like you need to go take some of your Prevagen, or what'd you call it?
It's just been a long day. I was in the hospital this morning.
Did you get your butthole fingered?
Well, yeah, and I was in the hospital too.
Well, I'm just saying, it'll cure hiccups, you know?
I just had a long day.
Yeah, you did.
But
that doctor had long fingers.
But I tell you, these three guys are cutting it up here, man. They are a lot of false finishes as we're talking through all this shit. And hell, there's still about 15 minutes to go or so in this, 10 minutes at least in this show.
3.5 stars here.
Okay.
Is what it gets.
Well,
the word in the dirt sheet was, and this is from the Figure 4 Weekly, total anticlimactic finish, and the crowd looked totally confused. 3.5 stars.
You know why the crowd is totally confused? Because I'm not a fan of a 3-way or a fatal 4-way.
Really?
Never was.
I thought you loved the 3-ways.
Well, you know what I mean.
No,
well,
I'm talking about WCW. Oh, well, listen to you. So you don't like 3-ways.
No, I like your traditional one-on-one. Yeah. I like your traditional tag team match. I don't like a Texas Tornado match with all 4 men going out at the same time. I never did really care that much for a 6-man tag team match. Always liked the belts. But I never liked this. I just always kind of got confused in a fatal 4-way or a 5-way or a 3-way. I always did. And I think maybe our listeners would agree. I think they're doing too much of it on WWE TV now. They're doing it all the time, seemingly. It's like their go-to thing. Let's have everybody who's in our main event do a fatal 4-way or a 5-way or something way. A question I've got, the knee braces, are they legit on Austin, or are they part of the gimmick?
Super legit.
Okay. Because I knew he had a bad back. I didn't know the knee. Look at this, man. The crippler crossface and the rings of Jericho. Walls of Jericho. Rings of Jericho. And the walls of Jericho all in one. And one of the Hebner's the referee. It's an all-star cast here, man.
It is.
Yeah. Not only that, all-star cast, and Howard Finkel was the ring announcer. Not an all-star cast.
I don't know why, but that makes me laugh.
So, what's he trying to say here? What's he? Austin's like dead. And
well, these guys have essentially been working together, and now they're fine because they were tag team champions just a minute ago.
Okay, gotcha.
And now they're like, nope, title's on the line, every man for himself.
And I understand that. I just don't understand why the referee was admonishing them like that. I mean, if this is like every man for himself, watch out. Trying the rings of Jericho. What the fuck did I say rings for? Walls of Jericho.
You said it because of the rings of Saturn.
Yes, I did. Thank you. You should be my agent more than you are.
I was just going to say, I'm getting you booked all over the fucking territory. I don't know what else I could do. You want Tony to come to your house? Hey, Court, what if Tony called the matches?
Hey,
don't forget to sign up for Patron. Buy a shirt. Tony will call you. Have I told you about SaveCade.com? And boy, those fine folks at Blue Apron, it's like, you should be my agent. Fuck, should be. Am.
You're my own personal Vinnie McMahon.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a promoter, remember?
That's right. Oh, God. That is so fucking dangerous. Landing on your feet on a drop like that. That's how you blow out knees. Landing on the feet. That's probably how Austin blew out both his knees. What the fuck we got here?
I'm going to blow out your knees.
Holy shit. Is this Booker T? Yeah,
Sucker!
Here comes the scissor. Yeah, baby, the scissor kick. Cause you know what my brother says, suckers gots to know. Oh, all right. So they shit on this finish. I thought it was pretty damn good.
Well, they're probably mad because, and by they I mean Brian Alvarez, because it's a, kind of a fuck finish here.
Right.
Which I get.
Right.
It's a pay-per-view and you're not giving a real finish.
Yeah. And that's how you end your pay-per-view. And of course you've got your, this is one of the classics from Benoit, the rolling German suplex.
What's interesting about this, as you know, is if Benoit or Jericho pin each other,
they're the champ.
Austin loses the belt. Yeah.
Right.
It's crazy.
And Austin's been laid out in the international announce table at that time.
For a hot minute.
Yeah.
Giving a little love to your boys, Booker T and DDP.
Yeah. So is this Booker T's first arrival in WWE? Or has he been in here before?
No, it's not the first arrival of anybody from WCW. That's not really what this is, but it is sort of showing you that, hey, we're fixing to heat this thing up now.
Okay.
The first time we saw anybody do anything was Lance Storm, believe it or not.
Lance Storm. I'll never forgive Lance Storm.
Why's that?
Because when Francine was going to take her top off, he covered her up.
Oh, yeah. Can you believe that? Why would he do that?
Because he's a Canadian. And they're a little bit different in Canada.
What do you think the odds are that we'd be able to get Francine with her husband's permission to give old Schiavone a flasheroo?
No, I don't. I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah. Why would you? I
want to imagine her like I've always imagined her.
Oh, so now you're insinuating it'd be disappointing?
No.
So you said.
No, it's not what I fucking said. Don't start this shit with me.
You said, I want to imagine her like I want to imagine her, and implying that in real life, it's not as good.
I would be embarrassed asking a gentleman to have his wife flash me. I would be embarrassed.
Look, it's like this. Hey, Joe, he's listening. Joe, hook old Schiavone up at StarCast. Just get him in the hallway. Peekaboo. Done. I don't think Joe cares.
She's got a daughter now.
But don't do it in front of her. All right.
Well, I'm not. Oh God.
It's not a big deal.
Oh my God. Not only are you my manager, you're fucking Satan on my right shoulder.
Dude, it's a couple of boobs. You haven't seen boobs before?
That's what that's what we got to do. Episode of Tony with a good Conrad with an angel on one shoulder and a bad Conrad with the horns on the other.
I feel like that's every episode already. Because on the one hand, whenever you say something mean, I'm like, oh man. And then an hour later, I'm like, just get her to show your boobs. Right?
But I do want to say that, well, WCW missed the boat with her, man.
With Francine?
Yes, sir.
You think they should have brought her in? You had big plans for her?
She is like, I don't know why it is. Maybe it's the backdrop of ECW, but she was like, to me, like as sexy as they come. Wow. And it's 2018. I can't say that now without somebody getting pissed off.
You just did.
But yeah. You're just not going to find any sexier than her. Just absolutely.
But despite feeling that way, you won't ask.
No, I'd be embarrassed to ask. Here's one. Would you ask for me?
Yeah. No problem. I'm going to ask right now.
No, don't.
Dear Joe. Tony wanted me to ask you.
Oh, God, is this podcast over yet?
No.
Because my ass getting in trouble. 1, 2. Oh, my God. Francine, I'm sorry, sweetheart. I know this is going to get back to you, but I respect you.
I respect you. What are you
I
saying
do.
right now? Does she think that, when did you disrespect her outside of saying they're not going to be as good as I imagined?
I didn't say that.
So you said,
I did not say that.
did you see that this past month she had some ring worn or photo shoot used or whatever undergarments?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what'd you think when they got to your house?
I know they wouldn't fit Lois.
Well, I don't think you're asking anybody else to model them.
Yeah.
Are you not going to tell everybody that you bought them?
No, I didn't buy them.
Whoa.
I didn't buy them.
Now hang on.
Okay.
I'm not saying you bought them, but here's what I am saying.
I contact build them.
I called you multiple times this week.
Yeah.
And every time you answered the phone like this. And I didn't know what that was about. And then I saw that listing and I was like, oh, there it is. And there you go. Stone Cold Steve Austin gets the pin, not over Jericho, but over Benoit, which at the time seemed a little curious to me, but there it is. Of course, he had a little bit of interference from Booker T in the match, a bit of a schmoz. The crowd did not pop. Everybody just sort of stood up and looked around like, well, what's going to happen next? You see some crowds starting to file out there. These guys have given their all and really busted ass in the match, but I think a lot of people were left looking around like, okay, now what?
Well, again, you got three performers who did a hell of a job, but I go back to this. They had to follow that fucking match, that street fight. And that would have been the way to end the pay-per-view in hindsight. Of course, you got to have the title. You got to have your biggest star. Austin, I understand, but I mean, the crowning jewel of this whole thing is that match. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh my gosh. That's the only reason anybody even picked this.
Yeah.
And it was quite a run here. He is at Tony Schiavone 24. I am at Hey, it's Conrad on Twitter. We'd love to have your feedback. Obviously, if you're listening to this, you follow us on Patreon, hit me up, man. We will want to make sure that we're following you and interacting with you and giving you what you like. And, of course, if you're on Patreon right now, then if you're a low-key big hog, stay tuned. Be checking your emails. We're going to reach out to two of you to do bonus shows in July. And one of you will pick something from the current product, and one of you will pick something from anything. We would encourage you, try to find something we can track down so everybody can enjoy the fun at home, but literally whatever you'd like. And we're going to be bringing these shows to you each and every month, 2 bonus shows a month. And stay tuned for details because we're going to have more information about a big gathering in either Atlanta or Nashville that we're going to try to do by the end of the year. And of course, we're going to do a whole weekend here in Huntsville, Alabama. And I'm looking forward to what Patron has in store for us, man. I've had a lot of fun doing this with you, and know that we're going to have a lot of fun as we continue to grow this thing.
Well, I'm really excited about what we've done so far. We're going to be talking here in just a few minutes to Eric, who's the one that suggested this match. So I want you to stay tuned for that. But yeah, again, you say I'm just a wrestling fan. Yeah, well, guess what? I'm just a wrestling fan, just like you. The difference was I was in the business and you were watching from the outside, but now you're very involved in it. And listen. You're a good man. You know why I say you're a good man? Not everybody would open their house to Bruce fucking Pritchard and let him spend the night. So that's why I say you're a good man.
Yeah, that's true. Old Pop's probably been asleep for quite a while now. Of course, we're going to bring on our man Eric and put a bow on this episode. But before we do, and we ask him, hey, why the hell did you pick this? I feel like it's about that time.
Yes, it's Tony Schiavone one-on-one against Francine. And the referee for this event is Jerry Jarrett. Schiavone and Francine climb into the ring. They are face to face. Jerry Jarrett has his hand on Francine's shoulder, and he has his hand on Tony's shoulder, and he is giving over the instructions to both fighters right now. The bell rings and here they go. And Schiavone is going for the top of Francine. Oh no, he puts his hands on his head. He can't do it. He doesn't want to embarrass himself. He doesn't want to embarrass her. Here comes Conrad Thornton in from the outside. He's got a 2x4. He hits Schiavone over the head with it. Down goes Tony. Down goes Tony. Down goes Tony. And we're out of time. We'll see you next week on
What Happened When?
On Patron.
Did you just call me Conrad Thornton?
Did I say Conrad Thornton?
What the fuck? How old are you? You asked who's in the main event 3 times. I told you 3 times. And then at the end, you're like, you just mean so much to me. And you've been such a big part of my life. And I just thank you for getting me back into this. And I know you say you're just a fan, but you're such a big part of it. Conrad Thornton. What the fuck? Okay, press pause. We want to tell you what Tony and I do to start our day every day. And no, it's not just scratch our balls. It's also get a big old glass of AG1. Seriously, we both started doing this at the start of the pandemic here in my household, and I know that Tony's been using it at this point for years as well. If you're looking for better gut health, you want more energy, you want to optimize your immune system, maybe you hate taking pills or vitamins and you want a supplement that actually tastes good, AG1 checks all the boxes. With one delicious scoop of AG1, man, you're getting 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens, literally everything you need to start your day right. It's a special blend of ingredients that supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, your focus, your recovery, your aging, all the things. And here's the thing, it's lifestyle friendly. Whether you're trying to do keto or paleo or vegan, maybe you're dairy-free or gluten-free, AG1's for you. There's less than 1 gram of sugar. There's no GMOs. There's no nasty chemicals. There's no artificial anything, but buddy, it still tastes good. Think of it as like your all-in-one nutritional insurance. It's going to help you get better sleep quality and recovery, better mental clarity and alertness. And it's like less than $3 a day. Athletic Greens has over 7,000 5-star reviews. And right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. Just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. And to make it easy, our pals at Athletic Greens are giving you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you got to do is visit athleticgreens.com/WHW. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/WHW to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. And now let's get back to the program in 3, 2, 1, play.
And we're with you on a special episode of Conrad.
What happened when?
Thank you very much. Thanks for getting on my queue. And we're here on Patreon, and we are talking to one of our low-key Big Hog members, Eric Darcy, from up in Minnesota. How are you, Eric?
I am doing fine on this wonderful afternoon. It is fun to be part of the Slapdick World Order.
Is that what we call it now, the SWO?
I like it.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think of something funny and clever.
Well, that was good. That was good. Hey, listen, we appreciate you being with us. We appreciate you being a patron of ours and joining us and being with us. We hope you've enjoyed it so far.
I definitely have. It's definitely worth my patronage and definitely worth my $69 a month.
Well, man, we really appreciate it. Obviously, it is a little bit of a stretch for us to imagine that anybody enjoys hearing from Tony Schiavone that much, but you're a good sport, and we really appreciate you. You know, people have, Lois has been trying to pay people to take him for years, and now we're actually getting paid to take him. So it is a change of pace, but one we're enjoying. And today we're going to be covering your bonus episode, and you selected, and you could have selected anything. You selected King of the Ring 2001. Catch us up, Eric. Why was this the show you wanted to hear Tony Schiavone talk about?
I was 13 years old when this pay-per-view happened, and I was visiting a buddy's place. I was out at a friend's place for the whole week, and I watched this live with my buddy at his mother's place, and I just have fond memories of this, have great memories of this, not so great memories, and definitely the Shane McMahon Kurt Angle match that'd be the semi-mid event, and yeah, just definitely in my top 5 matches still one of my top favorite matches of all time.
Well, Eric, you said in your email that you weren't too thrilled about the beginning and the invasion angle, right? Is that correct?
That is true, because I feel like, especially with DDP at the King of the Ring pay-per-view, was a wet fart in church. I feel like, it would have been cool to have Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, the Outsiders, even at Tony Schiavone in the WWF. And I know, Tony, you've mentioned before that you had a pretty much a job lined up the day after WCW closes doors, but I don't remember offhand if I remember you addressing it before. Did the WWF ever consider trying to bring you in during the invasion angle?
No, Eric, they didn't want me. Those motherfuckers. But no, they did not. They didn't want to bring me in. I contacted them, and they said they didn't return my call. So I kind of got the message. That's okay. I had a job lined up, and I was ready to go. But so the invasion angle, you didn't like the way it started. What did you think of it eventually, as it played out?
I was hook, line, and sinker. I actually believed that the Alliance may have ended the WWF. I was also at my buddy's place for Survivor Series and watched it live with him, and I was super excited when The Rock finally defeated Steve Austin in the final Survivor Series match. I hugged my friend. I was super excited, but I guess I was just the whole angle I enjoyed because it was something that a lot of my friends, my older brothers who got me into wrestling always dreamed about was what would happen if WWF and WCW would go at it. And I feel like the King of the Ring was, I guess, the way it's birthed the whole invasion storyline within the main event, Booker T running in and attacking Steve Austin.
Well, Eric, I was completely removed from the business, so watching this show, something brand new to me. And I was completely, I told myself I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm going to leave wrestling completely. So I know I'm in for a treat watching the show. And hey, again, we appreciate you being with us. What have you liked so far about being a part of Patreon?
I definitely like also all the run-ins that Lewis has been doing. I just like the video chats that you've been doing, calling people, thanking them for ordering a shirt. I believe you and I talked on the phone a couple weekends ago, and you shared your experience with going up and down the roads with Jesse Ventura, my former governor. And so it was fun to hear you talk to other slapdicks on the phone. And, yeah, it's just been a fun experience to get more Tony Schiavone.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. You are one of the champions of lowestrules.com. You do know that, don't you? Because you have a lot of shirts in your collection, don't you?
Yes, I do. And I am a proud member of the Slapdick Nation.
Well, thank you very much. And now you get to not only talk to me, but you talk to one of the great guys in the entire world, a guy that I couldn't do without. Oh. And, well, that guy's not here, so you just have to talk to Conrad in his place. But
I was expecting you to intro Bug right there. I really was. I was like, he's queuing up Bug here. No, Eric, we really appreciate it. It was a bit of a long shot for me to think that I could convince Tony Schiavone to come back to wrestling, and probably even a bigger long shot to think that he'd be calling wrestling again Friday nights on cable with MLW and BN Sports. But now the idea that I've got him calling fans, I feel like it's pulled him back in, and it wouldn't have happened without guys like you, Eric. And I appreciate you seeing what I see, which is, man, we miss Tony Schiavone in wrestling, and together we've got him back in, and it wouldn't be possible without your support. And we really appreciate you and guys like you who really dig what we're doing. And it's a testament to people our age who grew up on this stuff, and we just can't get enough of it, man. And that's something I thank you for, because I know that just doing this, calling Tony once a week and recording it, who fucking cares? You guys supporting it, though, this has become something, and it's exceeded our expectations, and both Tony and I are very proud to have your support.
And I do want to mention that, of course, it's great to hear Tony, but I feel like without you, Conrad, we wouldn't hear, especially Tony, multiple times a week. We wouldn't hear from Eric Bischoff. We wouldn't hear from Brother Love. But I feel like you definitely should get some of the props too on being able to talk, that slapdick Tony to come back. And yeah, because it's definitely a voice from my childhood. And I know, Conrad, you mentioned this before too, but you are definitely a voice for me to be able to talk to Tony, Eric, Bruce about, I feel like, questions that I feel like us fans are finally able to get answers. And it's great to hear Tony call the NXT show you guys reviewed, a week or two back. And it's just fun to hear Tony relive memories from his time in professional wrestling. I greatly appreciate everything that you guys do, from podcasting for editing to researching and everything in between. It's definitely hours upon hours extra you guys have to do, and I greatly appreciate that.
That's nice of you to say, man. I really appreciate it. Tony and I can't thank you enough.
Yeah, Eric, thanks. Before we let you go, tell us about yourself. You're a native Minnesotan?
Yes, I live in the heart and soul of Minnesota. I've been a wrestling fan ever since I can remember, renting old WCW and WWF tapes from my local video store. Some of the earliest memories I have from weekly TV shows was, I think, the night after WrestleMania 11 when Sid turned on Shawn Michaels. But my earliest Nitro memories was when Kevin Nash lawn darted Rey Mysterio at Nitro. So those are some of my earliest memories. I've been a fan ever since. I'm not really into much the current product these days, but I love listening to you guys talk about eras of wrestling that I loved even beforehand, and I appreciate going back and watching shows that you guys cover, and it's definitely rekindling my love of professional wrestling.
Eric, thanks very much, buddy, and I hope you enjoy the podcast that you selected, King of the Ring from 2001. And we're going to have a lot of fun with that.
In words of my former governor, the pleasure's all mine.
Thanks, man.
No, not a problem.
Okay, bye-bye. Eric, thank you, buddy. We appreciate it.
Thank you,
yes,
man.
Sir.
We appreciate it.
Talk to you guys later.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Patreon.com/WHW Monday. If you want more of Conrad Thompson and Tony Schiavone, complete with behind-the-scenes videos and new content every week, go to patreon.com/WHW Monday and buy lowestrules.com. Still one of the hottest sites on ProWrestlingTees.com to get your t-shirts from What Happened When. And also named for a crazy lady. And buy boxofgimmicks.com with coffee mugs, baby onesies, beach towels, koozies, and a whole lot more. To shamelessly show your support of What Happened When, something to wrestle with in 83 weeks, go to boxofgimmicks.com. And buy Slapdick Theater with your host, Kellner Zadumas. That's Kellner Zadumas, coming to Patreon in July. And I'm mad.
I want to remind you that in my real life, I'm helping people keep more of their own money at SaveWithConrad.com. I would love to see if I could help your family save some cash. We're routinely helping our podcast listeners save thousands of dollars each and every year, all because they spent just a few minutes with us over at SaveWithConrad.com. I'm talking to you if you're in a 30-year loan. I'm talking to you if you've got credit card debt. I'm talking to you if you've got a second mortgage. We can take care of all that, just like that. We're going to get you a better interest rate. We're going to shorten your term, and we're going to help you pay off all your credit card debt once and for all, and do it all with cheaper monthly payments. That's right. You can get out of debt faster with cheaper monthly payments, and you don't need perfect credit or money out of your pocket to do it. Find out how much money you can save right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com. And here's the thing, man. There's a chance that you've got a great deal. Maybe we couldn't save you any money, but wouldn't it be nice to just have that peace of mind of knowing you've got the best deal for your family? That's what my family can do. By the way, go check out some of our reviews at ConradReviews.com. We've got an A+ rating with the BBB, over 1,000 5-star reviews, and an average score of 4.72 stars. We're helping families just like yours get out of debt faster and with cheaper monthly payments at SaveWithConrad.com. NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. Oh, and did I mention no house payments for 2 months? Give me a call, 888-425-0105, or send me an email personally, Conrad@SaveWithConrad.com. And let's get you saving some money right now at SaveWithConrad.com.
Hey guys, it's the hardcore legend Mick Foley here, and I need to call a quick timeout, a brief timeout, because I wanted to tell your listeners what I have been telling Foley is Pod listeners about all the cool things happening over on ADFreeShows.com.
An all-new edition of The Insiders is here, as Conrad sits down with former WWE exec John Filippelli, who discusses his transition from the world of sports to pro wrestling, and his ultimate transition out of the company.
Every take was getting worse than the one before it. I said, you got to stop. You got to stop this. You got to calm down. Stop. Calm down. Stop yelling at people. Take it easy. Tell them exactly what you want, and we'll get through it. Which is, I have done 100 times since, and I would do 100 times more.
Yes.
But that was Vince McMahon, and you don't do that to Vince McMahon, particularly in front or around
Other people. Yeah.
That was my mistake. I mean, if you want to call it a mistake, although I would do it, I've done it since, and I would do it again.
Referee Nick Patrick is answering your questions every other Monday on our new mailbag series.
When Hall and Nash was there, they were great workers, so they could compete at psychology. But they were cool. And a lot of people liked it, Yeah, we're selling merch, And Hogan had heat. He had actually more heat than them. They had heat, but a lot of people liked them because they were cool. I was the only real character that they was calling NWO at the time that everybody hated. Everybody wanted to see me get so it worked, they had, Saturday. So it worked,
Tony and Conrad have taken their shenanigans in front of a live studio audience as they sat down live with ad-free shows members.
Hey, did you ever pet Jake's snake?
No, never did. I had a chance to in Chicago, but it was way too big and out of my league.
What's the right size snake for you?
One that just coils up and leaves me alone.
Yeah.
Have you ever oranged a Cassidy before?
Orange to Cassidy?
Yeah.
Would that be with one of those juicers, the juice machine, or you just squeeze it until all the juice comes out of it?
Yeah, it runs down your leg or his leg.
You gotta be specific here with your dumbass questions here, Cassio.
Best value